Da, na, 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 na. God, what a banger. What were they cooking up in Front Mission 4 OST? What were they cooking up? One moment, guys. I gotta share the link and then I'll be on the stream. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I think I can share the link while I talk to you guys. How are we doing today, everybody? How are we doing? It is the date of Sunday or Saturday, November 8th, 2025, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day, and we have a lot of content to get into. One of the most important parts is Kalinda's absolute decimation of this guy named Ash. It was just embarrassing. We get to hear about caste systems. Very apparent to American politics. Very apparent to American politics. He really hits all the rightoid basics, but apparently he's a liberal. Yeah, I laughed when I heard that. One of these fake liberals. Love them, you know. But besides that, we also have a couple things from Jasmine Crockett that I saw. And then just basic shrimp war nonsense. You already know about the shrimp wars. And actually, we're probably going to front end the shrimp war and Jasmine Crockett stuff in the beginning. But because I wanted to have Kalinda maybe comment on some of the absolute just BS that was flying out of Ash's mouth. I tried to listen to that last night, but I just woke up from a nap and was too tired for it. Yeah, it was a good, I mean, Kalinda did an amazing job, keeping her cool. The, he, the Ash dude was just being an absolute douchebag and, implying that, you know, she, just be, just being the absolute worst faith interpretations of everything Kalinda was saying. You know, faux outrage. He was, you dare call me a conspiracy theorist even though I just implied a conspiracy? You know, the fake outrage was just almost unbearable. Almost unbearable. But we got through it. And so we'll probably get through it today. I still haven't shared the link, by the way, guys. I'm very bad at that. All right. We are live. How do you guys feel about that title or intro message? Very unique, I know. Oh, but we got more members in Kalinda's library, ladies and gentlemen. Get excited for that. And then so we shared that there, and then I just have to go into every possible avenue that I can insert myself into. All right. Let us switch scenes. But I forgot to ask, how is your guys' day going? Is it going well? Are we having a good Saturday? Always fun on Saturdays. This is honestly only my Wednesday because I have work on Saturday and Sundays, but for the rest of the people, I'm super excited for them to have a good weekend. I'm just watching Nick and his cope. Oh, Nick. All right, let's go to the gaming time and bring up some new window here. Go to Brave. Bada bing, bada boom. That's not what we wanted. Dead air. Dead air. Don't. Guys, this isn't actually dead air. It's just your transportation into another dimension. Anyways, let's start off with something nice, refreshing. Let's start off with Jasmine Crockett telling Mike Johnson, the petulant child, to grow a spine. Let's see what our queen is saying here.
Two Democratic members of Congress passed away just over a week apart. Raul Grijalva of Arizona and Sylvester Turner of Texas, who had just been sworn in as a freshman congressman in January. Today, about 8 months later, both of their districts are still without representation in Congress. Now, you probably know about Adelita Grijalva, who won a special election in September for the Arizona seat held by her father before his passing. She still hasn't been sworn in by Republican.
I was wondering who the debate was and when she would start playing Ashes of Creation. That's what I thought the title was. Oh. No, don't worry.
House Speaker Mike Johnson. You may not know that Texas Governor Greg Abbott is pulling a version of Mike Johnson.
I know, right? Jasmine's a badass. I honestly would love to see her as AG. And she can clean up the mess that's been left by the Trump administration.
His state, slow walking the pick of a successor for Congressman Turner. You see, as governor, Abbott gets to set the schedule for special elections. It should have been easy. There's already an election day scheduled for this past May.
Sorry about that, guys.
He simply added this race to that ballot. Instead, he did nothing for months, eventually scheduling the race to replace Turner for this past Tuesday. But under Texas election rules, the top two vote winners in that race, who are both Democrats, must now face each other in a runoff election. And that won't be until sometime in January. Abbott gets to decide the date.
Yeah, I agree. I like Crockett too, but I hope she doesn't run for Senate. Full support to Tellerico. Yeah, I agree. I like James a lot. Sorry, I'm still kind of waking up, guys. I woke up. It was 8:55, and I said, "Guys, I got to stream." So I just immediately booted the stream up, and I'll be honest. I don't even have that many news stories for you guys. It's kind of a rush here, but I knew I'd have a lot of content with Kalinda's debate that happened, so I wasn't too concerned. By the way, did you guys see my short? Did you guys see I know Bill saw my short, but did you guys see my short? That is what I look like, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody's wondering what that guy doesn't exist looks like when he's existent, that is me. Tellerico is based too, using his Christianity to fight Christian nationalism. Yeah, it's pretty fucking dope, actually. Yeah, I really like James Tellerico. My mama loves him. That's like her favorite politician right now is James Tellerico.
They'll have to prepare for a midterm primary just weeks after that. It's a case that's flown under the radar, but it's another example of Republicans attempting to rig the game, to keep the voters from wielding their power in Trump's America. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett's a Democrat of Texas, and she joins me now.
Oh my God, she is slaying right now. Hold on. That red and black combo is killing it. I'm sorry, guys. She is absolutely killing it right now. Stacey Queen right here. Let's hear it, AJ.
Crockett, I had sort of followed this after the death of Sylvester Turner and the news about them not using that May date. But when I re-immersed myself in the facts here, It's pretty shocking this district is being kept without congressional representation for it's going to end up being maybe 10 months.
Actually, it may be very close to a year by the time all is said and done. What most people don't realize is that, number one, we lost 3 Democrats since Donald Trump has sworn in, and it was actually Sylvester Turner who passed away, unfortunately, first. Yet it is his seat that is actually going to be filled last. Just think about that for 2 seconds. You just talked about Representative Grijalva, or Representative-elect, since she's not sworn in. Let me clarify that. And so Christian Menifee, who is currently the acting county attorney in Harris County, he actually started to make some noise. He came to D.C., he talked to leadership here, and he decided that if need be, he was going to file a lawsuit to get Greg Abbott to actually set an election. And now we do have some parameters, but when I say he is slow walking this, I mean, he is slow walking it, and it is so sad. I don't know how anyone in the 18th Congressional District can even find themselves voting for a man that would leave them without representation. We know that once you are sworn in, you then have to deal with constituent services. You've got—
Damn, she is saying I don't have any comment right now. She's like, yep, that's, those are the exact points I would be bringing up. Like, they're not being represented. That is taxation without representation. That's literally something we fought a war over. So yeah, this would she's hitting all the right points. I'm telling you guys. AG Jasmine Crockett, there's gonna be books written about how our democracy was about to crumble, but then Chad lib-pilled Gavin Newsom got in there and appointed Attorney General Jasmine Crockett, and the stories will be about like her hunt for the remnants of the Trump admin. You know, I think that would be an amazing book, and I'm buying it.
Got to make sure you're dealing with whoever needs help from the VA, whoever needs help from the IRS or Social Security, as we are about to go into, obviously, tax season if we can open the government back. And now we know that people are devastated because they don't even know where their next meal is coming from because of this rogue government. And we know that there's not anyone who can hold a town hall and give them the updates on what's happening in D.C. So everyone should be outraged by this. This should not be a partisan thing, but as we know, some people love to just kind of run to their corners instead of pointing out right is right and wrong is wrong.
Yeah, I mean, your point there is a really important one, because at one level, right, the calculation by Mike Johnson in refusing to swear in Adelita Grijalva, which he could do, there's these
A.G. Crockett is the only person I expect to actually hold everyone to account. Yeah, me too. I agree with that. Shall be the Yahtzee hunters and finding them decades later in Argentina, right? Literally, oh my God. Guys, Bill just hit on something amazing, but he's totally right. The reason we're sending 40 billion to Argentina, or 20 billion, I think it doubled, but I could be wrong. The reason we're sending 20 billion to Argentina is so that they can have a house there when the going gets actually going, and America is upset. They learned from their idols, you know. It is over 40 now? Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh my God. But we can't give hungry children, we can't give hungry parents any food. We can't, because the government, because the Democrats, they just want health care for illegal immigrants.
Former sessions they keep doing. He's refusing to do it. He doesn't want that +1 added to the tally. It's pure partisan power consideration. Same with Greg Abbott, who slow-walked this, obviously, because he wants to keep the Democratic number in the House as small as possible in a very narrow 5-vote majority. But your point here was that you know, there's 800,000 people represented in each congressional district. Like, they have no representation. I mean, and Congresswoman-elect Grijalva has said this to me. You know, I want to help them. The government shut down. We got federal workers in my district. Like, the idea that you just don't get to have a congressperson is pretty. It feels profoundly un-American and anti-democratic to me.
Absolutely. I mean,
It's extremely anti-democratic. It's extremely anti-American. This is this is some gross shit that the Republicans are doing right now, especially Mike Johnson. Mike has no... Okay, so what was his original... Let's remember his original problem with swearing Grijalva in was... What was it, ladies and gentlemen? He wanted to have a party. He wanted to have a big celebration. With Briar Tyler Cohen, you might like. Oh, I'll check that out. Thank you for letting me know about that, Bill. I really like Grijalva. They turned her into a superstar. The Republicans are turning her into a fucking superstar, which I'm cool with. She seems like an amazing representative. But they're turning her into a superstar. And for what? You know, like, what are they exchanging all this power for? Just the Epstein file? I mean, it's so obvious. They're just trying to cover for Trump right now.
that. And
I'm going to check that out, Bill. Let me go grab that. Here, I'll let
Grijalva is in a very unique situation because in this moment, those constituent services should still be going at least for the 18th congressional district. But once there was someone who was elected, everything stopped for Rep-elect Grijalva, right? So now her constituents literally have absolutely nothing. Like, there's no staff that can do any work. They have her to say she's Rep-elect, but there's nothing she can do. She can't log into systems. She barely is in an office, so she can't be opening cases so that once the government opens, that her staff can kind of deal with those things. It is really sad. And here's the other kicker to this, right? Let's say, you know, our speaker decided to grow a spine and actually...
Let's say our speaker decided... I love it. I love it. There you go. Thank you for sending the link, by the way. Oh, I was pulling up Kalinda's debate, but let me open that up as well. Oh, I love World of Battleships, guys. Don't you guys love World of Battleships? Are you guys big World of Battleships players out here? I'm not personally, and I couldn't imagine myself ever enjoying that game. Personally, it's just not my type of game. But for some reason... Dude, what a Chad. Oh my goodness. How does he look so Chad-like? I mean, it's... Oh, it's embarrassing. You know, all the limbic beta Republicans, and they have to stand up to this Chad of a man. It's just sad.
Go ahead and swear in Rep-elect Grijalva. Well, ultimately, that means that we have the 218 signatures that we need for the discharge petition. But since we still aren't in session, it's not like a bill can come to the floor. Like, we have no bills that are hitting the floor anyway. So ultimately, like, those two things are going to happen at the same time, no matter what. So right now, why don't you at least try to look like you're serious about your job and look like you were doing the work of the people?
Oh, sorry, guys.
And not look like a petulant child and swear her in. Because at the end of the day, because you've decided to avoid having us in session, we can't take a vote on a bill.
Oh, Brian? Yeah, I know Brian's biceps are massive, dude. He is like the Chad image. He really is. He's like the Chad image. Yeah, Brian's fucking sick. And I love what he does, you know, stuff with the chorus program. He just lifts up other creators. Is always giving amazing coverage to the Democratic Party. I mean, I can't give enough praise to BTC.
Well, anyway,
Yeah, and the other thing is just bring back Congress into session. I can't figure out. It's very hard to tell because he does these press conferences every day, which sort of hits his talking points, says that he hasn't seen anything in the news, blames the Democrats. What the position is, he doesn't want to bring you back from recess because then he has to swear in Grijalva, or he doesn't want to swear in Grijalva because he doesn't want to bring you back to, I don't know. But the point being, it's 9 weeks now? It's 1/10 of the term she was elected to will have been spent on ice.
Yeah.
Because Mike Johnson doesn't think anyone in the House of Representatives should work.
Yeah, it is absolutely astounding. And I want people to pay attention. When you go and you hit those booths come the midterms, think about which party decided that it was okay to leave.
You hit those booths. I don't know. That was just a really funny line. You hit those booths, ladies and gentlemen. We actually, in the community, we have someone known as Booth Clouds. Maybe he might be able to inform us what that means.
Literally be on vacation while it is that people were going hungry in the streets of America. This isn't about partisanship. Again, to me, it's really clear to me. We have over 40 million people in this country that are not going to be with their SNAP benefits because you have people that have decided that they believe that they are basically pawns in a game of chess. That is not what anyone should want from their elected officials, whether you are a SNAP recipient or otherwise. And the idea that we're still getting paid while we're telling air traffic controllers who are responsible for keeping planes and people safe that they're not getting checks, or while we're looking at TSA, which they tend to be
They
some of
might
our
be
lowest.
trying to oust the terrible woman Nancy Mace, which sounds good until you find out she was the 217th vote on the Epstein petition, so that might be their game. Yeah, maybe. What's up, homeboys and Mr. Guy? Not much, Savage. Not much. We are just looking over Jasmine Crockett here, and then we'll be doing some general shrimp wars until the time is right that we get into Kalinda's debate with Ash. And review that.
Federal employees and tell them, oh, well, just keep showing up to work, because if you go get another job, you're going to lose this job while we literally are not working. Make it make sense. And ultimately, I need everybody to just vote in their own best interest.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you very much.
Stacey Queen is going to rain holy justice upon the right when she gets in the position of AG. I mean it, guys. This needs to be like a Democratic tour. You know what I mean? This needs to be just the most, we need to show that this can't happen again. You know what I mean? We need to show that this can't happen again. Speaker Johnson joins straight shooter with, what the fuck? Stephen A. Smith. I heard he's trying to get into politics. I don't know much. I used to watch his sports show when I was into the sports ball. But he always had some limbic takes, in my opinion. So I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, just for a little filler here, we got some what should the right do, what right want with Doug Wilson. Now, I know my fans, and I know you guys love Nick, okay? I know he is a very valued member, so how could I not bring the shrimpiest meal to you guys? Video, and I'm making pasta right now. Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I'm able to tell the future, maybe I'm not. I can't say anything. But maybe I'm able to tell the future, maybe I'm not.
Right want. I mean, we all pretty much understand what it is we're fighting. There seems to be a lot of consensus that
He still looks like he's crying. Why does he always look like he's in a perpetual crying face?
none of us want woke. But if you actually look at what has become big tent right or right wing, there is not a lot of consensus on what the end state should look like, what it is that we should be fighting for, as opposed to what we're just fighting against. And as I've researched this and I've studied.
Oh, poor guy doesn't realize that's what you're fighting for. You're fighting for to be against something. That's all they do. That's all the rightoids like to do.
I've come up with these 3 camps that I feel like the right falls into. One camp is this idea of we just need to reset to 2005 before everything got really crazy. And if we could just do that, we'd be fine. Another camp recognizes that the problems that we experience now didn't start pre-2005. They started about 100 years ago, if not longer than that. And so there are serious reforms that we need within our Constitution, within our government structure.
You don't know what a
and even
woke
then,
man
there's
is.
a third
It's funny.
camp which says, nope, the entire classical liberal experiment has essentially failed, and we need to look for something else in order to build.
With no evidence, by the way. No evidence. They just kind of, it's vibes-based politics all around, ladies and gentlemen. These guys like to think they're intellectuals because they can reference like some random fascist from 1930s. But that doesn't make you smart, and that does not make you intelligent. It just means you know a lot. Not even that. It just means you read, like, you got your fucking quotes from a Wikipedia article. That's all it could mean. But they constantly are like, oh, you know, so-and-so said this in 1930, and things have never been the same since. Is this is the third camp going to be fascist again? Oh, they are all fascists this time. Yeah, they're all fascists. You know, instead of the... Damn, if you listen to this guy, the right is just fucked. Like, they don't know what they believe in. They don't know what they... I mean, I agree, the right is fucked. But, like, I would not be watching this guy for my happy right news. My happy Republican news.
The sort of high-trust society we want to live in. Well, my guest today is someone that I've had people that I actually respect and like tell me that I should not listen to, that I should avoid. And so naturally, I immediately went out and started listening to hear what he had to say.
Wow, that's great. So you just don't listen to people. That's what you kind of exposed yourself there to do. Yeah, makes sense. I wonder... I'm not gonna say that. Never mind.
And what I found is that the caricatures of what he was saying did sound pretty bad. But that was the problem. They were caricatures. When I actually started listening to his arguments and his reasoning for the things that he wanted and for the things that he would like to see happen, a lot of it made a lot of sense. And so I'm very privileged today.
Okay, what is Doug Wilson? I don't know who this dude is, and I didn't think I'd have to do a deep dive. Who the fuck is Doug Wilson? Oh my god. Oh, jeez. Doug James Wilson, born June 18th, 1953, is an American conservative, reformed, and evangelical Christian theologian, pastor, author, and speaker. I am so glad that, oh my god, he's a pastor at the Church of Moscow? Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. Moscow, Idaho. Why the fuck did they name their city Moscow? Oh my goodness. You guys just almost gave me a heart attack. I saw he was the Church of Moscow. I'm like, oh my god, he's a Russian asset. He still very well may be. I mean, that doesn't exactly get rid of it all. Wow, look at this limbic beta. Wow.
Speaking with Doug Wilson.
One moment. Anti-Semitism controversy. Let's look it up. Anti-Semitism. Yeah, I spelled it good enough. Oh no. Doug Wilson addressed the in his writing. He defies anti-Semitism as the belief that Jews are uniquely malevolent and destructive in their culture. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like he reconsiders. Yeah, it doesn't look like he has too many anti-Semitic claims. Although, I'd say this picture is damning enough. He's not beating the anti-Semitism claims with this picture. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is Doug Wilson. He's a theologian. He looks like he smells like bratwurst and sweat. He looks like he smells like bratwurst and sweat. And a 7-pack of beer. I know, you're wondering, how did he get a 7-pack? Well, he's been drinking for so long, they gave him the 7-pack as like a gift deal. Wow. Well, I need a fun name for him. 7-pack Stan? I don't know, we'll see.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. Like I've said, I've had people warn me about you, and I was
Story of my life.
well, it was interesting.
Story of my life. People have been saying I'm racist for years.
Though at the same time that I was seeing some people that, again, even people that I liked and respected, saying that you and this concept of Christian nationalism was this very, very scary thing. Mm-hmm. But I was also seeing people like John Piper saying, right. No, I like the way this guy preaches. Right. And
Krill Kringle. There we go. That's perfect. Apparently this guy's a thought leader on the right. That's what I'm picking up. So he might be coming up here and there, and Krill Kringle is a good one.
And again, I went through that journey of saying, okay, what's the big deal? And
what's going on? Yeah.
Well, and I think the first thing is this: before anybody else tells anybody else what you think or what you believe Christian nationalism is,
I'm gonna give you the space to bullshit and gish gallop for a little bit. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you the space to lie. Is that okay? Thank you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
You give us kind of like a...
By the way, it just goes to show that Nick doesn't respect anybody, because if somebody I respected told me, yeah, you're not going to want to talk to this dude, he's just full of bullshit, and his ideas are just fascist, I'd respect that. I'd be like, oh, this guy has more information on this dude than me, and I'm going to respect that. But because of the weird culture that the right has made, where, you know, you can't keep me down, you can't keep me from talking there, he's talking to them, and he sees it almost as a challenge. Not a great friend, Nick is. Nick is a bad friend. Nick, why are you such a bad friend?
Do you mean when you talk about this idea of Christian nationalism?
Sure. I like the metric you set out at the beginning, those three groups. The one thing I would want to say in answer to your question is, let's take the first group off the table. Mm-hmm. That's like watching a movie, and a third of the way into it, you say, I don't like how this is going. Someone recommended this movie, but it's a dog.
Yeah.
So essentially what he's saying is that the right that doesn't believe what he's saying are traitors. Which, if that's what you want to believe, bud, go ahead. They can come into our coalition. We have plenty of rightoids that have shifted their beliefs because they saw what the right was doing. So go ahead, yeah, get rid of that 1/3 of your base, so you can only have the ideologues. Fucking loser. Anti-democratic fuck.
You don't then go back to the beginning and try again.
Yeah.
That was such a good joke. What was the fucking joke? Why did he laugh there? Here, guys, let's go back. Let's see why he laughed. By the way, who the fuck are these random people in the back?
You don't then go back to the beginning and try again.
That wasn't a joke. I don't think he was trying to make a joke there.
Yeah.
The movie's gonna go the same way.
Something got you to the point where you're not liking this.
2005.
Yeah.
got us here.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't just wind. You can't just go back to when I had stage 1 cancer and didn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're in stage 4. It's a mess. It's a total mess, and there are.
This guy doesn't like America. I've said this about these people before, but this guy just doesn't like America. He doesn't like the American values. And the only reason, like, he's just anti-American. He hates America. You, sir, hate America, Doug. I could debate this fuck. I think I could debate this fuck.
People who are not MAGA types, they're more MANA types. Make America normal again. I just want to go back to normal, and I don't want to think too hard. So I would say that is people who do that sort of thing might help out at the ballot box, might help out with different things. I appreciate many of the practical things that they do, but I don't go to them for worldview analysis or what are the tech.
I don't listen to people. God, what a douchebag. Already, I do not like this guy. He looks like Herschel from The Walking Dead. That's who I'm getting vibes of. Herschel. I hope he never meets a man with an eye patch. I hope so.
Tectonic plates.
For his
underneath
sake.
all of this. All right. So I would just say, let's not go to them for answers.
But hey, guys, please share this with your right friends. Please let them know that anybody that just believes in the American ideals of freedom, democracy, the right doesn't want you. The right doesn't want you. They don't want you. They don't want your votes, and they definitely don't want your opinions. We'll listen to you in the Democratic Party. We might not agree with you, but we'll listen and we'll understand, and we'll try to compromise. But here on the right, that's not how things go. It's my way or the highway, buddy.
In answer to your question, what is my conception of Christian nationalism? It is an interplay between your second and third groups. Okay.
Wow, that was not at all discreet. It's an interplay between the second. Okay, so that may sound smart. He's just said a big word, interplay. Whoa, what does that mean? That may sound smart. Literally what he's saying is the entirety of Christian nationalism is the interaction between the second and third group. I don't think that's what Christian nationalism is, but apparently to him, that's what it is. What a fucking dumbass.
And I would describe myself.
Think about what you just said, dude. Think about what you just said.
As a classical liberal. And so I would be in the second camp. One of the reasons people put me in the third camp is that I recognize that the second camp cannot function without a foundation. In other words, I reject secular.
You haven't even given any reasoning for why they need this supposed foundation, and what other political parties have a supposed foundation. Why is the Republican Party the only one that needs a foundation? That's interesting.
Classical liberalism. All right, secularism has died. Secularism cannot sustain itself. So
how? Why? Why can't it sustain itself? The only reasoning you've given so far is nothing. There's no reasoning to why. You haven't told us. Like, what the fuck? All right, I gotta let him
When you
talk.
take classical liberalism, Adam Smith, let's just suspend this free market system sort of out in the middle of thin air, and expect it to sustain itself. It will not. So
Wow. So he doesn't like the free market. This guy hates the free market. That's a super Republican ideal. Well, I guess it is now. Because he saw a brown person. That's true. He saw a brown person in Moscow, Idaho, and now it's his crusade.
classical liberalism grew out of a Christian consensus. And if you take that Christian.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I hate this this bullshit they like to spin that liberalism was out of Christianity. It was birthed out. If you read half of the founding fathers' writings, they make it very apparent they want a separation of church and state. They make it extremely apparent because they were just coming from a system that ordained the king. God ordained the king. They did not want anything to do with the Christianity. You know, they made it very apparent of why there's a separation. But these guys would hate the founding fathers. This guy would spit in George Washington's face. He would. He would spit in Benjamin Franklin's face. He would. He'd say, "You're wrong and you're woke." I wouldn't. I'd be fucking having a meal, smoking a stogie with the guys. But, you know, I heard George Washington, he was quite the pothead himself. He was quite the pothead, so I think me and Washington could dap up on that and the idea of, like, a government that's ruled by the people for the people. Dude, we'd have such a good smoke sesh. But this guy... Dude, he'd probably, like, try to busk out the 7-pack, and George Washington would just look at him like the sad whelp that he is, you know? Be like, ew. You know, come from Moscow? I doubt my, you know, anyways.
Christian consensus away, you're going to lose the fruit if you lose the tree.
No.
Desmond had an influence as well. Oh, deism has it basically where they say God didn't interfere in the world anymore. Yeah, I mean, like, when I see, like, God referenced in things like the Constitution and stuff, I don't... Reference in the Constitution? I don't think so. But when I see the references, I imagine them talking as God as, like, the universe, right? That's how I interpret it. I don't imagine I don't think they're referencing the Christian God. I think they're referencing God as the universe, and that they are making a statement to the universe that this will be a government run by the people for the people. That's how I interpret it. And I feel like that's the best interpretation for just politics today. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these people did not have good feelings about the church, you know? They did not love the fact that they had to, you know, pay fealty to a king who said that they were ordained by that God, the very God that they're supposed to worship. So I look at it more as the universe, and whenever they invoke God as making a statement that is true and universal, I guess. If you guys kind of get what I'm saying.
Now, what would you say? Because I think that's absolutely true when you talk about classical liberal thinkers like John Locke. Mm-hmm. But then when you talk about ones like maybe Jean-Jacques Rousseau,
right,
you get a very, very different...
That's correct.
So they're both part of the classical liberal tradition.
See, these guys are stupid, too, because they have to point to their favorite authors to have thoughts. They're too much of a coward to say it themselves.
Correct.
Guys, you don't have to read any fucking political theory to get into politics. You do not have to. Obviously, this guy, Nick, makes it very apparent that you don't have to do that. Our system is built by the common man, and it is for the common man. It is a recent Enlightenment value started as an opposition to Christianity. Yeah, exactly. And not even necessarily like an opposition to Christianity, but an opposition to the system that it had set up and all that. But again, it is an opposition to Christianity because you're making a government that is entirely entirely constructed by sinners and all that. Like, that would not be cool in the Christian worldview.
You saying that essentially one is just simply not sustainable, or
Yeah,
logically leads us to where we're
I would
at?
say that the secularizing impulse is like a cancer, and it's a corrosive that will eat out any
No,
container.
you are a cancer. You're a cancer on our democracy, buddy. I'll say it. I'll say it. Bro, you look more like cancer than anyone on the Democratic Party. What are you talking about? Have you gotten a recent checkup for yourself, sir? Hey, I'm bald. I'm bald, so I have full right to fucking make cancer jokes.
Try to keep it in, right? And one of the things the progressive left does, and does exceptionally well, was summarized wonderfully by an irreverent guy on Twitter, Iowa Hawk.
Wow. Pointing to Twitter. Bald King. Oh, thank you, Flamars. Good to see you, by the way. Good to see you. But if you guys want to see my face, I did post a short where I recorded on my phone a question for MAGA. Like, why are they okay with Mike Johnson just totally ignoring them, and to a lesser extent Thune, just ignoring them, and ignoring Trump and not getting rid of the filibuster? And Bill, I did see your comment, by the way, that it would technically be Thune who is the one who can release that pressure valve, but I think it's pretty apparent that Thune is taking barking orders from Mike. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's pretty clear that Mike is the one running the show right now. Just like I would point to, if this was a difference, I would point to Hakeem. You know what I mean? Hakeem would be the one who needs to put pressure on Schumer to get rid of the filibuster. You know, that's kind of what I would say. But MAGA isn't even having those conversations because they're just totally ignoring the fact that Mike ignores Trump.
Yeah.
David Burke.
Yeah, no, you're talking about.
Some of his stuff is awful.
Nah, Thune is smarter, I would think. Johnson is a puppet of Donald. You know, I thought Thune would be smarter too. I really did. But he doesn't seem to be making any headway in these talks. I don't know. It was more just to trigger MAGA, so I could get some reactions. Unfortunately, it did reach a lot of people's feeds, but unfortunately, no MAGA has responded yet. It's okay. This Tuesday, I'm thinking about putting the bulletproof vest on and going into political discords while I'm live and having debates with MAGA. I think that would be fun.
This stuff is the most insightful political analysis.
And it's always witty.
It's always witty. But the stages of progressivism for him were identify a respected institution. Number 2, kill it. Mm-hmm. Number 3, gut it. Mm-hmm.
Talk about projection. Holy fuck. What are you talking about? Who's the one gutting? Who's the one gutting institutions again? Fucking Doug? Doug Wilson? Who's the one gutting institutions? You can't possibly say that that is the progressive left. That is very obviously the populist right that is very concerned with how these institutions are corrupt, quote unquote, and woke. Man, Republicans project so hard. Like, how do they do it? Is everything they say just a projection? Oh, really? In reporter questions, Thune was bossing conman Mike around? Oh, well, I didn't know that. I didn't see that. Bet. Well, I'll delete the video and we'll post something else. They're only supposed to be up for, or I only wanted it up for a little bit anyways. Let's see how many views it got together though. Let's see. Holy shit, 763 views. That's insane. And 5 likes, we're keeping it up, guys. Sorry. We're keeping it up.
Carcass is a skin suit while demanding respect.
Yeah. It's the Antonio Gramsci March to the Institution.
Long march.
Dude, I cannot wait. If I ever have a conversation with one of these guys, I'm going to be like, oh, you mean like Yang and Slong said in 1500? You mean like that? And let's have it up. Yeah, I like it. You know what? Fuck it. I won't delete it. It really helps for views. And I'm going to do another short asking MAGA questions. So don't worry. I decided not to delete it. I mean, and it's a good question. You know, like Mike still is ignoring Trump in a lot of areas besides just the Philly bust.
March through the institutions. Now, what secularism did was it did that to classical liberalism, capitalism, free market. That cannot be sustained without faith in a transcendent God. Another way of putting it.
Hold on. He just made an incredible claim. Let's listen again.
Capitalism, free market. That cannot be sustained without faith in a transcendent God.
How does that make sense? Please make that make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Capitalism cannot exist without Christianity. That's what he's saying. What about a capitalist system is intrinsic to the Christian, or what about Christianity is intrinsic to capitalism? I'm drawing blanks. As a matter of fact, the Bible is much more of a, advocates for much more of a communist system than it does a capitalist system. And I don't care about that. I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in any of that ideals or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, the U.S. has survived this long as a secular state. Well, they don't believe that. They believe that it originally was a Christian state until the woke Dems got a hold of it and started messing things up. When was that? Oh, about the 1800s. About the 1800s is when the woke mob really started to get us. Like, this shit is insane. And any other, in a world where politics are less hostile, this man would never exist. This man wouldn't exist. He just wouldn't. He's not smart, as we're obviously able to tell. He just sits there and opines all day. Dude, this guy literally gets paid to fucking talk about God and sit on his ass. Lucky guy.
Another way of putting it is Adam Smith's invisible hand is the hand of the Lord Jesus Christ. There is no invisible
Oh my God.
law making stuff move around.
Yeah.
We live in a personal universe, and we must believe in.
There we go. We live in a personal universe. That's why. That's what the right does. They personalize politics. Any form of policy, they first have to think, how will this affect me? Under God wasn't added until the Pledge of Allegiance until 1954. These nerds know nothing. Yeah, I know. Well, do you remember the original saying of the United States wasn't "In God We Trust," it was "Mind your business." But we forgot about that. We forget very often.
We must believe in God. Now, consequently, there are many of the things that your third group is saying.
Okay, he hasn't explained himself at all. Has not explained himself at all about how Christianity is intrinsically linked. I know he's preaching to the choir right now, but think about the audience member. They must be fucking confused as hell.
Which is that, man, we've lost more than you think we've lost. I agree with them on that. But I believe that if we recover those things and implement them, then what we're going to get at the end of the day is a lot like number two, right?
So would it be fair to say that,
What?
because I think a lot of people...
Excuse me? What? I'm drawing a blank on that one, guys. Maybe you guys can help me out there.
Be shocked, excuse me, shocked to hear you describe yourself as, no, I'm of the classical liberal tradition.
Right.
I just believe that it's not.
No, I'm a liar. That's what he says. No, I'm a liar. I do like to lie. I take a number 2 at the end of the day, too. Something tells me he's got gut issues, so he might be taking a number 2 a lot more than we know.
It can't operate independently of the transcendent. There needs to be a foundation that provides, I'm guessing, objective truth, objective morality. And to have those things, you need to have a lawgiver.
That's right. I want the classical liberal tradition to go to a revival tent meeting and get saved.
Got it.
Right. So you
Fuck you. I don't want any form of Christianity in my good constitution. American Christianity is to uphold unchecked capitalism, nothing else. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's all Christianity is about. You hit on a good point there, Bill. By the way, religion-based morality. Yeah, I know. But you hit on a good point. Is all Christianity is just a mean for political ends? Is that all it is to these people? Because they use God like a weapon. They use him like a weapon against their enemies. I don't think Christians themselves would be very happy about that, but...
So secularism is incoherent for this reason. If
all right, we're about to
God
find the
above
reason.
If the state is
Here,
here,
okay. This is the reason. This is the reason. He's giving it to us. Let's get excited.
There's no God above the state. The state is God.
Yeah.
Here, I'll let you hear it again just so you know you weren't being bullshitted there.
Incoherent for this reason. If there is no God above the state, if the state is here, if there is no God above the state is God.
Yeah.
Wow. Real high levels of thought there. Well, first off, I would say the system you created that needs a hierarchy just doesn't exist within the United States government. That's not how our government works, you know? The people are actually above the government. That's what it says. So in your, I wish I could show, I had my face. The hierarchy you made, it's like the government, and then you guys can't see it, but I'm putting the people above that. Genetically Modified Skeptic has a video where he talks telling his parents he is an atheist, and their first question was, that mean you're a communist? Exactly. These guys love religion and their politics. State is God is just fascism. Exactly. That's not how our government works, dude. And this just shows how simple-minded they are. And I mean that. These people are simple-minded. Because they can't understand the complex interweavings of how government affects the people and how the people affect the government. He just sees the word government and immediately just thinks, oh, that must be above me. That must be so complex. Like, you can look into how things work, you know? You can look into that. You don't just have to sit here and pontificate about, oh, well, if there's no state above the God, then the God... Like, this is so stupid. This is actually just brain-numbing, mind-melting stuff they're doing, and we're only 7 minutes in.
There's no other way to parse it. All right. If there is no authority over us outside the world, where Congress can't reach it, the Supreme Court can't reach it, we can't jigger with it.
Yeah.
All right. If there is no transcendent authority.
What did you just say? He's hit that hard R a lot of times, you can tell.
Then The ultimate authority governing our lives is down here, made up of sinners, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to. If there is no God above the state becomes God, and I don't want a God headed up by Joe Biden, Kamala.
Oh my God. Well, I don't look at the state as a god. You are so weird, Doug. You look at the state like it's a god. I'm gonna speed this guy up because he is a fucking weirdo. Oh my goodness. The whataboutism on these people is crazy.
Harris, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
That's not the pantheon that I want to live under.
Well, this is also
Well, that's great because they don't ask for tributes. They don't ask for fucking sacrifices. You know. We're not even. Where is he fucking recording this, by the way? Where the fuck is this, dude?
The third category,
Who the fuck is Baldy over here? And why is he in the frame, Nick?
want to go to like monarchy or some other sort of system that isn't classically liberal. One of the things I critique is I feel like I think there's very legitimate critiques of classical liberalism, especially when you unmoor it from it.
Trust me, we know. We know you have issue with what our nation was founded on. We know.
Anything else. It's out there. Because then Marxism becomes a very logical conclusion. If this world is the best that we have and there's no objective moral law and we create our own reality, then we must create our own utopia. And of course that's going to be something that probably yields toward, because if we hold these truths to be self-evident, then
So wait a minute. Okay, now he's just bro, he's just hitting the fucking dialogue tree now. Nick, stop. He's just hitting the dialogue tree. Watch.
all men are created equal. Well, then, of course, Marx concludes that, well, therefore, we should have a hyper-egalitarian state, and the only way we can achieve this is... But then
He just hit literally every buzzword at once. Oh, jeez.
then I'll look back at the critique of classical liberalism and say, okay, but you can't tell... We're not allowed to critique the excesses of monarchy now? Like, we've seen equal problems in this state. So this begs the question, then. Because some people will say, okay, maybe I agree with you that
It's
classical
my
liberalism
dog.
works
Come here, Striker. Oh, he got afraid.
within a certain...
Nick, why the dude, Nick's face scared my dog away. What the hell, Nick?
moral
I
framework.
would just warn them. It's okay to agree with me. Just don't do it in public.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't like...
Oh my God, no way. Wow, what a grifter. Okay, I had a feeling that this was illegal, and I feel like we should be doing some more research on it. I think what he's doing is illegal. He shouldn't be able to be taking sponsorship deals as a representative. Hold on, I want to look into this. Can a elected official take sponsorships while in office? Let's just look that up. The ability to accept sponsorship while it depends on the nature of the sponsorship and rules governing their position, particularly regarding generally elected officials may accept sponsorships or benefits from outside entities only if they do not create a conflict of interest or the appearance thereof. For example, Senate employees, including those in full-time service, for more than 90 days are prohibited from accepting outside employment or benefits that conflict with their official duties. I don't know. This is a gray area. I think this should be illegal, though. I think he's a representative making economic advice. I was about to say maybe that's why not a representative anymore, but he still is until January. Yes, he is. He is. If anybody lives in Virginia and they have an issue with this, I would let your officials know that what old Nick is up to. I would love to see an indictment on him before he left office. He is a crook.
Be able to protect your investments. Maybe they say, okay.
Yeah, that just feels wrong, right? That just feels wrong. Like, that should not have happened there.
Okay, Dick, I get your point.
Only 10 minutes in, by the way.
I too believe that it's objective moral law and objective truth, and and maybe they take more of a kind of a bad deist approach, like our founders. Some of well, actually very few, but prominent founders like Franklin and Jefferson and others. That okay, God.
Yeah, like a lot of them.
God created everything. He created a moral order. He created things that we can understand by using the scientific method and things like that. So we appreciate that. And so we got to appeal. But why does it have to be Christian? Why does it have to be Christian nationalism or even maybe Christian classical liberalism? Why does it have to be that?
Okay, so as I look at my political convictions and I look at my other affiliations, my family loyalties, my heritage, all of the things.
My heritage? Ew. Get out of here. You don't deserve to be in the country if you're bringing up your heritage. Jesus.
And the fact that I'm a Christian. Augustine spoke of Ordo and Morris, the structure.
This guy would love Moscow. Why doesn't he just go live in Russia? This guy would love Russia. You can go live in Russia. They have a system very similar there. You would love Russia so much, man. Why don't you go live there? You were close with Moscow, Idaho. Why don't you just fill out the full form and just go there? If you don't like how America's running. Like, why not, you know? Truly, why not? You think this is all failed, dude. You think this whole American experiment is wrong. So why don't you just move to fucking Russia? Why don't you go chill with Putin on the back of a horse? And leave all of us Americans who believe in things like freedom, equality, liberty, stuff like that. Leave us alone, because you're ruining our fucking democracy with all this Christianity bullshit.
Of your loyalties, the structure of your loves. So I'm a Christian first. Okay, that's the foundation. Jesus says, if you...
They likely don't want to be conscripted like that one guy who moved to America to Russia. Oh yeah, he died, by the way. He's dead. He's dead. That man died. Widowing his wife and children. He is dead.
You can't be my disciple if you love Father.
All because he didn't want to live with the wokies. Well, now your family doesn't get to live with a father. All because of your stupid decision.
Father or mother more than me. If you love wife or children more than me, you cannot be my disciple. So Jesus is Lord, is the fundamental Christian confession. Well, then the question is, Lord of what? Lord of the air? Yeah. No, that's the devil. the devil's...
No, that's the devil. The devil! Oh, the devil. Satan! Beelzebub! Oh, Azimuth! Here, let me fucking read a couple. Let me read them. Vine, Bifrons, Haganty, Uvali, Cameo, Murmur, Gremori, Ouroboros, Zagan, Volok, Andros, Hariz. I don't know how do you even say that word? Belial, Dekarabea. You know? Did that just put a curse on the entire podcast? I don't know. Did that just put a curse on the episode? I don't know. You're going to have to buy the 3 magical books of Solomon to find out.
Power of the air. Yeah. Jesus is the Lord of everything. Yeah. He is the Lord of heaven and earth. In Daniel 7, Jesus ascends.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so the Lord of everything? So that would necessarily include the air, right? But I thought the devil was the leader of that dimension. So what's going on there? It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Places, the Ancient of Days gives him authority over every tribe, nation, language, everything. And then in the Great Commission, he tells his disciples to go disciple the nations, baptizing them, teaching them to obey everything I've commanded. So my Christian nationalism is an overflow from, an outgrowth of, my submission to the Great Commission.
Okay, but you still haven't explained how that is intertwined with modern liberalism or even classical liberalism.
Jesus didn't say, go into all nations and teach them to be morally decent without acknowledging me in any way.
Yeah.
He didn't tell us to do that.
Yeah.
Now, there are legitimate questions for the Christian nationalist. I'm a Christian with these structured loyalties, and I'm a patriot. I love my country. So how do those two things go together? If I had to summarize my Christian nationalism in one nugget, it would be this. Look.
You are fucking disgusting, and there should never be any Christian nationalism, you fuck. They're just open about it. They're just open about it now.
We serve the living God. I believe that America should stop making God angry.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're doing multiple things that make him angry.
Yeah.
And you can find this throughout the scriptures. Does a Burgafell make him angry? Yes, it does. Does our slaughter of tens of millions of unborn children make him angry? Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. But does our wearing of two different fabrics make him angry, as he is most likely doing right now? Yes, it does.
Abuse of wealth, our fat and sassy appropriation of wealth, like we have this American dream and we have this expectation and a sense of entitlement that if we don't have GDP growth of a certain percentage, we're being ripped off. We are insolent, ungrateful, murderous, perverted. The porn industry, and it's not just what goes on.
Dude, why are you bringing up the porn industry? He is on full-blown fucking schizo rant now. Oh, jeez.
But it's what our ruling elites approve of.
Yeah.
Right. So when you have people every society.
Does Jesus like what ICE is doing? Oh, I'm sure he'd love that. Yeah. You don't remember the I think it was Galatians 17:30 where Jesus busted down the door of an immigrant in full-blown tactical gear and dragged him out and threw him in a camp. You don't remember Galatians 17:30? You need to do a little reading, American Progressive W. You need to do a little bit of reading into Galatians, and you'll see clear as day, Galatians 17:30. And Jesus took the young child from his loving parents. The child screamed, but Jesus said, I don't know, something inspirational.
Every society has always had mentally ill people, demon-possessed people, people who would do, off in the corner.
Whoa, demon-possessed? I'm demon-possessed? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold on. This guy just started talking some Scientology Thadon bullshit. Whoa, is that what mental health is, buddy? Is it that I just have a demon inside of me? I wish. I was very lonely for a long time. I wish I had a friend like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dude, I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh, dude. I'm probably about to start playing Duel Masters. You guys are about to see me start playing Duel Masters. Fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh!
Corner doing their Gollum thing. We've always had that.
Yeah.
Right. But our problem is that our respectable types are letting them do it.
Yeah, we elevate and celebrate it.
We celebrate it. Yeah. We don't know what to do. And you've got major cities saying shoplifting up to 900. Shoplifting is okay, not chargeable offense. You can deck a guy can the drag queen story hours. The problem is not the twisted people who are doing the reading. The problem is the normal people who let that happen.
So
why are we talking? Okay, so this is the moral degradation. How many drag story times are there in the nation? Now take that and compare that to how many Sunday services there are in the nation every week. And you'll start to see that one is much more prevalent than the other. I want these people to be afraid. Like, I want them to be scared that we're going to take away their God in the government. Because we are. We're going to get rid of your God in the government. He should have never been there in the first place. So yes, be scared. Like, yeah, you should be scared if you believe that Christian nationalism is the only way forth for America. You're damn right. You should be afraid of people like me. In the Bible, if you cause a miscarriage by hitting a woman, you just pay a fine. That's it. It's not considered a life. Otherwise, it's an eye for an eye. Yeah. I also wonder about Republicans appealing to block SNAP funding in November. Would God like that? No, he would not. He would not. You know, I do feel bad because a lot of my family is Christian, a lot of my family is Christian, and they're like, they see what's going on and they hate it. They hate, very similar to James Tallarico, I would say. They see it and they hate it. And they know that that's not what their religion teaches, They know that's not what their beliefs are. I feel bad for those people because you should be able to practice whatever religion you want. I truly believe that. And I would never accost anybody for being a Christian, truly. But unfortunately, I kind of have to I kind of have to meme on it because these guys are using it as their justification for taking over the government. But I just want people to be aware that I have no issue if you're a Christian, if you are Orthodox, Catholic, like I have no problems with that. I think the Bible teaches a lot of pretty good life lessons, but people just tend to choose the worst ones. I like seeing more pastors coming out to protest against ICE. I thought I would never see the day when Republicans are more conservative than the church. Yeah, I know. I didn't either. Well, look at the Catholic Church. You know what I mean? They've been pretty progressive. They've been very accepting of the LGBT in recent years. They've made statements against like the treatment of immigrants here. Like, it's just a very small sect that believes in this, but they are the most vocal. They are the most vocal sect of Christians. And it's sad for literally every Christian out there that just does not want to associate with that.
So I think we should stop
To the
making God
point where
angry
there's Charlie Kirk in fucking services
with that
now.
kind of behavior.
So so that'll again. I'm a Christian. So I always say that look, what you believe about God will by necessity
No way. He's a Christian? I thought he was Muslim.
form the basis of your worldview. Even if you say there is no God, right? That still forms the basis of your worldview because of what has to follow after it.
Correct, because there's follow-up questions.
Exactly. Again, it's,
No, there's
whenever-
not. No, there's not. There does not have to be any follow-up questions. There is no God. Boom. What follow-up questions do you need after that? Well, how does the government run? Well, we've made a system of laws that make it run. I think now is more important than ever to have an American Pope speaking out against ICE, which is also very nice to see. Oh yeah, the new Pope seems like a fucking G, dude. He seems sick. I'd smoke a stogie with him.
Whenever I get how can there be a loving God if there's so much evil in the world? Like, okay, great. First, give me your definition of evil, and then explain to me why it's subjective and why it has meaning.
Perfect.
And it's problematic for them to do that because they don't have a framework that actually allows for it. They're borrowing from mine.
Right.
So I'm
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I am making a logical basis of murder bad. I'm making a logical basis of thief bad, you know? Christianity doesn't need to exist for there to be a prosecution system or for there to be a justice system. That just doesn't need... You may ask, well, where is the power invested from? Well, number one, we don't need a power invested from anywhere, but if you really needed somewhere, it'd be the people. It'd be the common consensus of everyone. Like, what are we talking about here? We're just so stupid. We don't know how government works. We're just dumb now.
very open to this idea.
By the way, who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this guy?
That if you want a classical liberal structure, and just to kind of put that in loosely defined terms, if you want a
Somebody
structure
left their Stanley Cup there.
that elevates individual liberty, free market economics, private property, representative government, you could throw some other things in there, freedom of association, expression, etc. If you want a society where that can actually work, then it needs to be the mere fact of saying these things are good presupposes that there's a standard by which we can judge whether or not they're good.
And the follow-up.
Dude, no, it doesn't. Presupposes that there's a standard. Yeah, have you ever, like, do these guys live the human experience? They just seem so insulated to the entire world, it feels. Do these guys have, like, the basic human experience of interacting with a person? Do they have that yet? I genuinely wonder.
follow-up question is going to be, by what standard?
Yeah.
By what standard do you say that individual liberty is good?
Yeah.
Well, we made a bunch of laws for why. Ew, I do not like the way he's looking at me. Turn away.
Excuse me. And I, like you, I value individual liberty highly. That's my allegiance to the second group.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't even believe in individual liberty.
But consistent with some of the third group, I point out that individual liberty is a religious value. It is a value.
Listen to what he just said. Individual liberty is a religious value. What a fucking dumbass. Not realizing that the very idea of liberty
does not flow
came from the
equally.
Enlightenment. Oh my God. Yeah, this isn't a deserved crybaby cam. You're right. I agree. Well, actually, hold on. Oh no, this isn't deserved at all. These guys aren't crybabies. They look like Stacy's and Chad's. They look like Stacy's and Chad's, so don't worry. Here, actually, I think this would be a good crybaby cam. They're crying about how our democracy is falling. Oh no, they're crying about how the Big Daddy state isn't coming to help them out. It's so hard. It's so hard to exist as a rightoid.
Out of every religious system, right? Islam, conservative jihadist Islam, individual liberty does not flow out of that reading of the Quran.
You know, conservative Islamist jihad. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys get what I'm picking. You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Individual liberty does not flow equally from every worldview. You can't take deism or pantheism or Christian faith or Islam. You can't line them up and say, and the First Amendment rights flow equally out of each one of those things.
They clearly don't.
It doesn't.
No,
so
they
if I want
don't.
individual liberty, I want to find the soil historically in which that sort of thing grows.
So that answers the question of, again, why Christian?
Yes.
Now here comes
That
the
didn't
difficult stuff.
answer my question at all of why Christian. Dude just gish galloped for about 70,000 hours, and then you asked that question. What a embarrassment.
With the practical application.
Right.
Because let's just say we can say, okay, so Doug Wilson's definition of this is, look, I want a generally classically liberal society. I want my government to be organized along those lines. However, there is a moral framework that it must be tied to because that's the one that it grows from.
Right.
And if it grew from these other
Conservative Christians definitely didn't, so the Crusades they were killed cities of Christians on the way.
ones, then classical liberalism
Well, those were sinners.
would have produced
Joking.
from those other
I don't know
societies.
I don't know any Crusade history. I missed that part in world
We're not,
geography.
so we're not saying anything.
Or
Nothing
world
about this
history.
is racial. Nothing about this is ethnic. This is a question of what do different worldviews produce.
The question is not what the issue is not the white people produce.
Yeah.
The issue is what does the gospel produce.
Yeah.
That's the only issue.
Yeah. So, okay, so we have that, and again, I can follow this thought pattern. It seems very logically consistent. Next, we get into the but you're going to live in a society where not everyone shares that moral foundation, but still lives in the society.
Right.
And then you come up with what are the appropriate legal structures? What are the appropriate because. And look, for anybody that's immediately thinking in their head, oh, so you want the old Levitical law? Christians don't believe we are bound to Levitical law, right? There's still the moral law.
Exactly. You can prohibit abortion
Yeah.
without prohibiting clam chowder.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Without prohibiting bacon.
Right, we're not prohibiting bacon.
Yeah.
But I want to answer the question without
But
flinching.
hold
Yeah, so-
on. It's a sin to do all that stuff. It's not a sin to do an abortion, but it is a sin to do some of the stuff you guys are referencing. If I wanted to take the Bible 100%, then these guys are already fucked because they're wearing two different types of fabric.
So if someone says, why can't we? You're imposing your morality by outlawing abortion. You're imposing your morality. And I say exactly. That's exactly correct. You are correct.
Yeah.
I'm saying that we cannot abort children because God told Moses on Mount Sinai, thou shalt not do that sort of thing. That's the-
And I'm saying we can allow abortions because I don't give two fucks about what Moses was doing up there fucking with God. I don't give two fucks. What I do give a fuck about is this poor woman who oh, sorry. I was reading a message. I do care about this woman who is going to have to choose between raising a child, which she has no idea if she can do. She's only 16. And having an abortion, which is extremely hard on her mental. She's going to have to make that decision. And I feel more for her than I do for whoever the fuck Moses was and whatever the fuck type of bush he was smoking up there. And I guess that's where we differ. I guess, you know what? That is true. You are a heartless piece of shit, and I am a lib Chad that wears his heart on his sleeve. That's the difference.
Oh, but God told Moses other stuff. They're going to try to bring in the clam chowder.
Yeah.
Right. And I say, well, read your whole Bible. Read there's a flow of redemptive history, and we expect the Christians who are acting this way will have read the entire Bible, will have taken into account the fact that Christ came, and all
What if I read the entire Bible? Guys, should I read the entire Bible? We should do that as a stream. If I can get 500 subs, we can read the Bible together.
of these things.
Peter expresses this very clearly.
But they're still going to get stuck on, but you're imposing your morality. And I say, yes, but you are too.
Yeah.
Okay. The laws are by definition.
Yeah, Christians think people just want to do abortions for fun, far from the damn truth. Yeah, exactly. It's never this caricature that they like to believe of just some woman who's constantly getting abortions, you know, just so she can go out and have more intercourse. Like, it's never that. It's never that. And I've never met a person like that, to be quite frank. Like, this image that they draw forth is just fake. They're scared, though. These guys are scaredy cats. They are afraid of things they don't know. And instead of embracing and becoming better because of those new things, they reject it.
An imposition of morality. And it's the only question is not whether but which. It's not whether we impose morality, it's which morality we impose. Because
Just watch
me
more
and
Shu
Moses
reads
and
the
my Christian
entire
colleagues
Bible.
want to impose our morality
Maybe.
on you and the doctor, saying you can't abort that child. But what you want is you and the doctor being able
Oh, but then I could do fun voices. Like, I could have a God voice like, Moses, smoke some of that dank bud on that bush and you'll start getting visions.
to impose your morality on the child.
Yeah.
And your morality imposed is a whole lot bloodier than mine.
So I want to clarify something on that too, so people properly understand that as well. When you
No,
say that.
yours is a lot more cruel. That's what yours is. Yours is a system that does not allow for even one mistake.
The whole idea of imposing morality through the law, because I've had people, I've been a legislator for 10 years now in Virginia. I represent James Madison's district.
Okay.
And I've had people tell me, well, Nick, you can't legislate morality. And I look back, I'm like, actually, it's the only thing you can legislate.
Correct.
And like, what do you...
What the fuck? No. No, not at all. Legislature is for laws, you dumb fuck. Do you not understand how our... He just doesn't get it, and he's a representative.
mean by that? I said, speed limits are predicated upon a moral premise.
Mm-hmm.
The moral premise is that if you drive the speed in this particular place, you increase the probability.
No, speed limits are made out of concern for safety. What are you talking about? Speed limits. So you're saying if we didn't have the Bible, we wouldn't have speed limits? That's his argument right now. His argument is that if we didn't have the Bible, there would be no speed limits. We could be gassing all the way down, ladies and gentlemen. Highway 50 would be lit up.
Of fatalities or danger. Human life is valuable, therefore we want to mitigate that. And so this. I'm not saying every law is a good one,
Right.
But all laws, every single one of them is predicated on a moral principle. So,
Exactly right.
No, it's not. It's predicated on a logical principle of if you commit crime, you will be punished. What are you talking about? Oh, make it make sense.
there's a difference between... Now, there is a difference between legislating morality and legislating mores, right? So there can be certain practices or whatnot. And that's where I think so if we can kind of establish that, like, look, let's just understand that regardless of what anybody says or thinks, all laws predicated on moral principles. Laws by their definition are...
Interesting. So despite what anybody says, you're just going to go with that? Interesting.
positions on what you can or cannot do. So all law is an imposition of morality.
So, but we want to make all...
By the way, guys, if you're enjoying, please remember to like and subscribe and potentially share it. It really helps out the channel, gets my voice out there, and lets the people know who I am. I should be having debates here soon, although I'm not going to promise anything because I have a unfortunate flaw where I overpromise. So I'm not going to do that. But I am a master debater, let me tell you. I enjoy it. So it seems like the rightoids don't want to debate me. That's what it seems like. Seems like the rightoids just don't want to debate me. I do have an uncanny ability to piss them off, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. But I do have. And always talk about, oh, hold on. I watch a lot of okay. And always talks about how Trump by saying, don't listen to the morals from rapists. Yeah.
Cows have
Very
4 legs,
true.
but not everything with 4 legs is a cow.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so let me give a perfect example on abortion, because I'm very, very active in the pro-life movement, and
I'm very active. They send the PAC send me a lot of money, never stop. I am very well funded by them.
I have a lot of respect too for the abolitionist movement.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember somebody coming.
Oh, wow. He has a bunch of... Whoa, Bill. Careful. Careful. Thank you for blurring it out, but I don't know if you can be using that type of language in YouTube chat. You might get kicked. Not by me, but just by YouTube. That's a harsh word right there. You don't want to be using the L word around conservatives. They might flip out and ban you from their Discord server.
Office once and saying, Nick, you have legislation with respect to protecting innocent human life and punishing and making it illegal to perform these procedures. We think you need to take it a step further, and there also needs to be punishment for the people that actually seek out the procedure. So you need to punish both the supply and the demand. Because if we're saying that this is the destruction of innocent human life, well then surely providing that service as well as seeking out that service, there's a
You're the only one saying that. You're the only one saying that. Everybody else understands that it's just kind of a clump of cells for a while, but you guys think that when you nut, I don't know, it must create life or something. I don't know.
And I said, I understand what you're saying. Like the logic flows, the logic works. Can I ask you a question? I said, if I were to create the legislation that you are,
I know, Flame Artist, don't worry. I know. It was jarring. In soft art. Loses.
asking me to carry.
Oh, careful. That might trigger them even more.
The question would be, is every time a woman has a miscarriage, do we have to launch a criminal investigation in order to determine whether or not she intentionally aborted the child or whether or not it was an act of nature completely beyond her control? And do we want to live in the sort of society where the government has the authority to actually engage in that? I said, the logic flows.
I don't want to live in that society. I think you should just be able to have an abortion. It's a medical procedure,
There's a very, very serious implication and practical limitation to what we can achieve through the law.
Right.
So my question is that as we look at, okay, if we've acknowledged that all laws in a position of some sort of morality, how do we draw lines between things that we might say are maybe wrong?
They have not proved any of their points, by the way. They've just been gish galloping.
Moral that we don't like, but we understand are maybe not the role of government to proactively enforce.
So there's two things here. One is the fundamental distinction that has to be made between a sin and a crime. Okay, all law should have a moral foundation.
Wow, thank you. So it should be a law that you shouldn't be able to wear that fucking shirt. Interesting.
But not everything with a moral foundation should be a law, right? I don't want covetousness police. That's the 10th of.
Yeah.
I don't want some sheriff pulling a J. Crew catalog out of some woman's hand saying,
To me, it is life. It's not a human. Like a chicken nugget was obviously life. Yeah, I mean, it is life. It's just not a human. I mean, so to me personally, I see consciousness as when you achieve your humanity. That's when I see you as like being a fully formed human, because consciousness is the core concept. You know what I mean? Consciousness is how we realize that you're alive, how we understand that you understand things. And so for me, it's until they're conscious, which might sound a little cruel, might sound a little, but I mean, that's just kind of what I believe. And yeah. So 25-year-old / J. I don't think I'm quite yet fully formed yet. So yeah, they could probably abort me if they wanted to. I don't think my consciousness is clearly lacking in some areas. So they might need to put me back in the goo for a little bit.
You were coveting there. That's not within the capacity of the civil magistrate to deal with sin. I don't want lust police. I don't want covetousness police. I don't want people. I don't want the magistrate trying to examine our hearts and motives. Okay, that's one level. We have to maintain.
But it seems you do. It seems you do, because you just advocated for or your friend Nick just advocated for a criminal charges if you commit an abortion for both sides.
Between a sin and a crime. Your illustration on opening an investigation for miscarriages is another one where, let's say a woman deliberately did some things to cause herself to miscarry. That would be a crime. That would be a crime in the sight of God. But we are not competent to gather up the witnesses. We ought not to charge people with capital crimes without 2 and 3 witnesses. There's some things that people are just going to get away with, which is why we as Christians have to wait for the last day. And we would make a bigger mess.
So your system just sucks. Your system just fucking sucks. It doesn't even fix the issues you guys think you have. Your system just sucks, dude.
By trying to investigate every miscarriage. Sure. Right? We'd make a much, much bigger mess than not. So those sorts of things could be considered criminal and unjust taking of human life in principle, but it's beyond our competency to investigate. Okay.
So that makes sense. So it's, I guess what I'm,
that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't really make any sense at all. I'll just be honest. Oh, this shrimp, dude. Why could he have just stayed in his aquarium? Why couldn't he have just stayed in his damn aquarium? Instead, he decided to come onto land and mutate into this freak.
Sense from the side of, again, recognizing the practical limitations without excusing the act.
Correct.
And this is where I go. So for me, I've always kind of operated in this idea that there's different provinces. So like there's the province of the individual, the province of the family, the province of the church, the province of the state, and they have different rules and responsibilities and different authorities within their respected spheres.
Correct.
Obviously, with respect to the state, there's now almost no sphere that the state doesn't intervene or interfere on to some degree. I think that
what are you talking about? Hey, all I'm saying is the state is nowhere near when I buy an ape. You know, the state ain't anywhere near
the biggest
that.
concerns that people have when they hear Christian nationalism is this is going to be clerics debating issues of whether or not you violated a tenet of Christianity. So for instance, thou shalt not have any other gods before me. Okay, so you live in this society, but you don't go to church, or you know, how do we is that illegal now, or do we have some sort of, and if it's illegal, then there has to be some form of punishment, right? Like, and so I think you've answered part of it with the distinction between something that is sinful versus something that can be a crime within a legal statute.
All right, chat, if I don't see a couple more likes on the video, I'm stealing all of your souls. Sorry, I was told I need to be more mean when I ask people for likes and stuff, but I don't like that. I feel like a jerk. I feel like I'm forcing you guys, or like, you know, putting up a barrier to interact with me, and that's totally not the case. I just, you know, I like seeing the likes. So
right, not going to church is a sin.
Yeah,
and it does. It really does help out with the algorithm. I know I say that, but like I've noticed whenever I get like probably 10 likes, it just instantly goes out into the sphere. So, anyways, I sold my soul years ago. LOL. Good luck finding it. Yeah, me too. I remember when I was a kid, I would do the, if I don't make it this far, my soul goes to Satan. Yeah, I was very inundated with Christianity. So, unfortunately, I think Satan's got my soul too. I didn't skip the rope enough times.
Don't want the government regulating that. But this is the kick in the teeth. All right. One of the reasons the people who are objecting to Christian nationalists, because we're saying and doing scary things like let's not stop making Jesus mad. Yeah. Why do you think? Well, okay, that's a separate thing. But these same people want to import millions of Muslims who have no concept of this distinction between sin and a crime. Right. Yeah. So if you want concept of this distinction,
hold on,
want to import millions of Muslims. Yeah.
Whoa, buddy. Hold on there. What did you just say?
Who have no concept of this distinction between sin and a crime.
They have no concept. Wow, that is fucked up to say. Even Nick's like, what the fuck did you just say, dude?
So if you want clerics...
Wait, what did he say?
Of this distinction between sin and a crime, right? Yeah. So if...
Yeah. Oh, wow. Any Muslim constituents... any practitioners of the Islamic faith within Nick's district, however few they may be, well, apparently he thinks you guys don't have a distinction between law and sin. Mother Nature didn't like the church I grew up going to. It was flooded. Damn right. Did I get clapped? Spill? I'm sorry. Oh, I don't think Flamars got clapped.
If you want clerics who are dictating behavior, if you want a bunch of weird beards telling you what you can and cannot do, then your immigration policies are on the fast track to that. What they're afraid of with Christian nationalism is an ecclesiocracy, right? With clerics running the show.
He just called... Wow, this guy is fucking racist.
But one of the tenets of Christian nationalism is the separation of church and state.
Which blows their mind. Yeah.
It's going to blow their mind. Yeah. The separation of church and state is another distinction, another doctrine that flowed out of a Christian consensus. Yeah. So, for example, and this is a mind blower, when there's a great book.
Guys, get your fucking minds ready to be blown. This is a mind blower for him. I half expect him to fucking, yank out one of his puns he read while on the John here. But this is a mind blower, so get ready.
Establishment and Religious Dissent, which is an examination of church-state setups in all the states at the time of the adoption of between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And here's the trippy thing. Multiple states.
Oh, okay. He just had to bullshit for a little bit, but now we're getting to the trippy thing.
Required that you, in order to hold public office, and in at least one case, in order to vote, you had to be a Protestant Christian.
Yeah.
Okay. That was.
Whoa! No fucking way, bro. Mind blown. Psh. Oh, we changed those laws? Oh. Okay. Now everybody benefits from them? Got it.
Yeah.
It's just
like Maryland and Virginia were exceptions.
Yeah. And then in Massachusetts and Connecticut and New Hampshire, they had an established state church, the Congregational Church, down into the early part of
wow, right, American Progressive W? Mind blown. My Jane Jones comment got removed. Oh yeah, I remember us talking about, yeah. I wish I could. It's on no filter, or it should be. So that is just YouTube's doing, unfortunately.
1800s. And then Vermont, which was the 14th state to join the Union after the Constitution, had an established state church when they came into the Union. Now, I think state churches at the state level, national, established churches at the state level is not a good idea either. I want separation of church and state at the state level also. My only point in bringing that up is that even if it's a bad idea, it's not an unconstitutional idea.
Yes, yeah, that's
right?
correct.
And the thing.
It is an unconstitutional idea.
But here's the trippy part. A number of these colonies required you to be a Protestant Christian, not just a Christian, but a Protestant Christian, in order to be able to hold office. And they also simultaneously prohibited ministers.
You should email our warrior Jay Jones about Nick's sponsors. He'll fight for us, all right? Oh, that is true. I will. Yes. You are a freaking genius. I tell you, Bill, very valued community member here. I'm actually gonna thank you for telling me about that. That's a great idea, actually. Because his ads do seem very conflict of interesty. Very much a conflict of interest, in my opinion.
From holding public office. Okay, if
I didn't know that.
Okay, that you may not be a legislator, you may not be a state legislator if you are a clergyman.
Huh.
You may not. You have to be a Christian.
Yeah.
But you may not be an officer of
What was the reasoning behind that? Was it to prevent the kind of
separation of church and state, which is okay.
Yeah.
Right now, and this is a good example of a Christian consensus, a Christian ethos that was pervasive throughout the states. And they had a distinction where you are responsible to God, you're responsible to the government of the church, which is a distinct government from civil government. Now, we want all our civil legislators to be Christians, but we don't want any ministers because it's going to muddy up the waters. Okay. Okay. So because they had a very clear idea of the separation of church and state, which is different than the separation of morality and state.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we know the drill, right?
Oh my goodness.
Right? If let's say there's somebody running for Senate, running for re-election, and somebody finds out that he grew up in a fundamentalist church and that he still goes there.
Yeah.
And so the reporter asks him at the press conference, Senator, it's not worthy. You belong to this church. Yeah. What impact will that have on your behavior in Washington if you were to be reelected? And everybody knows that that's a catechism question because the response, you can write it, my faith, which is a very precious and private thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you need in your life is more.
Oh my God. This was a horrible. I'm only on the shoulder of giant. No, Bill, you are a goat. You are a goat. Just say you hate the founding fathers. Yeah, I know. Just say you fucking hate them already. Just say you hate them. If gold wasn't a conflict of interest, by the way, I would definitely say meats are. I would definitely say a meat industry is. This is a conflict of interest. No way it's not. No fucking way it's not.
More stake. This is not up for debate. It's just a fact.
Shut up, Nick. Oh, wow. He looks so giddy. He looks so giddy. He looks so happy and excited. Oh, wow. I'm so glad he gets to be happy. You know, I never see him this way around his wife. I never see him this way. Look how happy he is. That's a smile from Nick. You guys don't get that very often. Look at that. He's happy. Oh, he's so happy about the beef. He's so happy about the beef. Look at that. He is a smiling Chad. He loves meat. Oh my gosh. This guy loves meat. Now, don't ask about how much Good Ranchers donated to his political campaign. Do not ask that. Never this happy around Bald Hitler's wife. True, true. He is never this happy around his cuckoldress. He is never this happy around her. Bald Hitler is, but that's for entirely different reasons. That guy loves meat.
That we use on the regular because they are fantastic. GoodRanchers.com. Use my code Nick.
He loves meat. This guy loves meat.
When I first ran for office, like the quote I put on my website was, I said, I am first and foremost a Christian. My entire worldview flows from this. The statement I made was, my belief in individual liberty, personal responsibility, property rights, free markets is rooted in this understanding.
No, it's not, dude. Stop using the Bible for that. That is bullshit. You have obviously not read the Bible, because you would obviously know that ownership is not a core tenet of biblical teachings.
And I think another interesting thing that when we talk about Christianity is forced conversion is not allowed. It's heretical. And people, well, but they did it. I'm not saying people haven't tried to pull it off.
Right.
I'm saying that it's heretical.
That's exactly right. And what you said on your website, I would say amen down to the ground. Now back to Senator Snoutworthy. He says my faith, which is a very precious and private thing, will have no impact on my behavior while I'm in Washington, D.C., representing the good people of whatever. And then 6 months into his term, let's say he's pulled over in a red convertible with a couple of hookers in the car and $10,000 worth of cocaine in the trunk and a couple of unregistered firearms. And the following Monday, he has a press conference and he says, look, I promised the good people of my home state that my faith, which is a very precious and private thing to me, would have no impact on my behavior while I was in Washington.
Well, that's not at all, that has never happened. I wonder if he loves the Argentinian beef we've just bought. He probably does.
And I'm proud to say that I have kept my commitments.
I've never thought of it that way. Well, what I tell people, when people saw that quote on my website.
That wasn't funny. That wasn't a funny joke.
On social media, and they criticized me for it. And I said, well, your religion is private. I said, I'm going to tell you this right now. I said, anybody tells you that the religious...
All right, folks. I think we need to switch out and start watching this surprise debate. We'll finish that at some point, but I think we need to watch this surprise debate that Kalinda had with Ash. Now, I was talking to Kalinda, and I know she wanted to do a little co-stream together. And I'm gonna message her and see if she wants to join. If not, that's totally all right. No pressure. But if so, you know, I always love to hear from our creators. I'm about to go over... Join. Sometime this week. Yeah. Exclamation mark. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys don't know what went down, let's see if I can focus this time now that I'm not half tired. Yeah, well, unfortunately, it seems her debate opponent couldn't even understand half of his narrative for times. But I was pretty active in this chat, not gonna lie, guys. I was very active in this chat, so you're probably gonna see me popping up from time to time. I was at work.
By the way, I'm gonna turn on my stream, but please...
This is a Lib Queen Kalinda. Go give her a subscribe. She is an absolutely amazing streamer. Yeah, probably 2 times speed would be smart. Thank you, Bill. But go give her a sub. Go give this video a like. One moment, just gonna see what she said. Setting, but I might hop on in later. It's a really long debate. Yeah. Totally understand. All right. So she debated this rightoid that likes to fake being a liberal. You know, we love them. We all know who we're talking about. You know what I mean? Giga Chad work chatter. Thank you. Thank you. I was in there. I was trying to give some good points. I thought I brought up some good.
Keep like sounding not crazy. Or, I mean, like I don't agree with what you're saying, but you still sound less crazy than you did when you were in Wick's debate.
I am 100% correct. Sorry, you are 100% correct in that I am. That's what we should open the stream with. Is when I'm talking like.
Oh, and I'm not gonna be nice to this guy at all. He was extremely rude to Kalinda. I mean, just an absolute jerk. And very smug, very just constantly looking down. Sorry, I just have to respond to Kalinda. A little. All right. So let's continue.
Just chatting normally, and I should do this with Wick more often because I don't want to only be.
Oh, but this guy was just a huge douchebag, and if I ever debate him, I'm not going to be nearly as nice as Kalinda here was, because Kalinda was a class act in this debate, and he just nonstop bad faith assumed. Are they both Canadian? I believe Ash is American. I could be wrong about that, though. If he's not American, then I don't even know why. Well, he's the one who was talking about an American identity. So if he's Canadian, then that kind of just totally destroys his whole, the American culture. I would love for these fuckers to tell me what American culture is. I would love that.
I only want to talk to him when I'm being unhinged.
Yeah.
But yeah, I regard the question of mass migration as open. There are hateful, evil people who treat it as not allowed to be an open. You're not allowed to make this an open question. You're not allowed to have any preferences.
I think it depends on what you're talking about. Like
already off to a bad faith start, painting all the people who disagree with him as just wrong. Just wrong. You know, if we don't want to have a discussion about race-based traits, then you're wrong, and we should all be talking about that.
Like, listen, if you want to say it's not great to have like millions of people coming into your country in like a single year or whatever for that number to be really high, but I feel like America, like that is a discussion that maybe might be better suited to like some European countries, but the United States, no, not really. I don't even think there's like, America can be way more choosy with the people that it lets in, at least as far as like or legal immigrants or whatever. Illegal immigration is a different story. But I mean, I also take issue with like what you're saying, because that people who came over after that 1964 Immigration Act or whatever, like those people are Americans now. Their descendants are Americans, unless you don't think that they count as Americans. I don't really.
I think that they can be. Like, okay, so a lot of
they can be, but they're not inherently. That's bullshit, dude. That is absolute bullshit, un-American, just lies. They can be. Please tell me a 1960s immigrant who hasn't integrated into society. I'll wait. I will wait. You fucking schmuck.
My grandparents on my mom's side of the family, most of my mom's side of the family.
Oh, and this guy loves to pull up a sob story about how he used to be homeless. I don't give two fucks if you were homeless, bud. I really don't. We're talking about politics here. We're not talking about your life story. So every time that comes up, we can add a soy jack to the screen or something.
Family came over to Ellis Island around like 1918, 1919 or something like that. Primarily German and German-Irish mixes.
He's just saying a bunch of shit that does not matter. Doesn't matter to his point. Doesn't matter to what he's going to try to argue. He is just gish galloping. This is what I'm not allowing this type of shit. Personally, I'm not allowing him to be like, well, my parents came from here and they integrated very well into society. They were white and extremely xenophobic, but
that side of the family has a much longer history within this side of the country. While the Irish and Germans and Italians did cause a lot of problems when they first got here and did cause a lot of upset in that process, they did integrate. And I think that fundamentally, if we're taking any, here's what I'd say. I am perfectly happy rejecting the proposition nation, or rejecting anybody who rejects the proposition nation and saying that they're not American, even if they were born here, even if they match the, I don't know what you would call the
Okay,
heritage.
so you don't believe in the American ideals and you have no idea what you're talking about. Great. Well, I'm glad we established that you hate America. I'm glad we established that early on.
Americans, is that the dog whistle people use nowadays?
No, the founding stock is the dog whistle that Groypers and people like Nick Fuentes use.
The founding stock, that sounds way worse.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, that sounds way worse. Yeah. So if you come into the country and you are colonizing it, like, okay, if Britain came over, let's just say Britain comes over and they invade and they set up a military base in New Jersey. They said, we're going to get you back from.
Yeah, that's a great point too, by the way, Progressive W, is that he's saying these are like, these are cultures that integrated well. However, there was still discrimination against the Irish, against Italians. Like, there was massive discrimination against those people. So it doesn't even fit with his worldview. Germans were the first mass migration. They were like 20% of the country at one point. Yeah. I'm part German.
Christmas, you fuckers. And a bunch of Brits
Although
moved
I
in.
have much more Russian in my ancestors. You know what? If he gets to do his ancestor fucking... My ancestors fled from communist Russia. Fun little fact. So, does that mean that now, since I have that sob story, I can just constantly criticize the left with impunity? Is that what that means? No, of course not.
Some of them have British accents, and some of them start lecturing us on how they are the real true Americans. And let's say one of them had a kid here. Would they be an American? Or would they be a British subject who was born in a British colony?
I mean, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, they would, in fact, be an American because they were born in the United States. I do not. I'm sorry.
But they're
Yeah,
in a
don't
British-
tell Hassan. No one tell Hassan that my family fled the persecution, the political persecution of Russia. No one tell them that. No one tell them.
Colony.
I disagree with this term. I don't think that a bunch of people immigrating counts as an invasion. Now, if in your hypothetical you're saying that, hold on. Sorry, let me run the
I'm giving
hypothetical
you
back.
I'm giving you a really ridiculous example to see if we could establish any kind of common ground. And I feel like if somebody was born
I'm
in
giving
a
you
foreign...
a really ridiculous example to establish common ground. Okay, good idea.
colony on American soil, at the very least we could agree, okay, that person's not necessarily an American.
When
At the very least, there's an open question that they are under our jurisdiction, right? They might not actually be on American soil because they've taken territory from us.
Okay, are you talking? All right, sorry, because I missed part of that because the cat decided to get in my face. Are you talking
Cats
about?
do what cats do.
Yes. Do you have one?
I do. He's a very large nibelung who's like 16 pounds and very annoying.
Nice. Mine's like 13 pounds now. I need to do something about that. But
Oh no.
yeah. So okay, it sounds like the hypothetical that you are creating actually reminds me of the early history of Israel. Is that like what you're trying to get at, basically? Where
No,
essentially
it's-
the Zionists came to Palestine, although Palestine wasn't a country, it was part of the Ottoman Empire, and it was their goal to set up their own country there. And they kind of hoped that they would be able to do it if they get the people who were living there basically just kind of fuck off and leave. And then they
No,
figured
I'm
that
literally just talking about like the American, like trying to set some baseline for the American proposition. And so if there's any kind of distinction that we can make,
Obviously not. Obviously no. If somebody was born on American soil, but that soil was under the jurisdiction of another country, obviously the Constitution wouldn't fucking apply. Are you stupid?
between like somebody who is a legal citizen and somebody who believes, could somebody be a legal citizen, or could there be an open question about their citizenship, and could we ask whether they were spiritually, more like intellectually, an American, and like does the American proposition have any value?
I mean,
Like, look at this. He is basing this all in a world that does not exist, where Britain has invaded once again America. We don't see this happening. He's just created a scenario that would never happen, that will not happen. And now he gets to run free with it. He's getting to run free with it.
I mean, okay, first of all, you're gonna have to tell me, what do you mean by the American proposition?
A civic nationalism, like a basis of values that we're going to base our society off of, rather than just an ethnicity.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I don't think
Right.
that America is based on. I think that one of the entire big
Yeah,
things.
America is a huge land. There is no central core tenet value that all Americans hold. I disagree. I think it would apply because American wouldn't recognize the rebellion, like the Confederates were American citizens after the war. That's true. That's true. Actually, you're totally right, Bill. Totally right. Yeah. Although I would feel a little different just because it was a rebellion more than it was a foreign nation invading. I mean, but you do bring up a good point that we treated Confederate soldiers as if they were American. It's a good point. So, I mean, if this scenario that happens ever does come to fruition, maybe then we could debate this. I would personally say that if they were born in America and they're pretty used to being assimilated to this culture, I'd say it's fine to just make them an American citizen. I don't see any issue with that, especially if their foreign nation has gotten their ass kicked. Obviously their foreign nation didn't give enough of a fuck about them, so I think we should. I think that'll show that we're more serious about protection of our citizens than the foreign country.
It's about America is that it is not based off of an ethnicity. That like anybody can
that's
come
the
and
American
become an
proposition.
American.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like that's. I mean, I would argue Canada has the same thing. That it's the same kind of shit. Like there's no ethnicity or whatever. Like that.
Canada lacks an ethnicity, but I feel like America has it. When I say the American proposition, there are morals included in that. Like people believe
No,
that's
there's
contingent
not.
on
What is this? Okay, so for one, he's just creating this American proposition out of thin air.
beliefs
There's
that
no
people have
fucking
about
like
the subject of rights.
you
Hey,
don't
we
have to
natural
have
rights,
a
natural
certain.
law,
I mean,
you
yeah,
don't-
that's
I mean,
yeah.
you can obviously tell we don't have to have a certain. We don't even need to believe in democracy, as we just saw with Nick there. There are no commonly held beliefs amongst all Americans. You could say freedom, democracy, liberty, that's kind of cool, but not even some Americans believe in those, and that's okay. But in his worldview, every American thinks at some base level the same thing, which isn't how humans work.
mentioning like Scottish common sense, which is interesting, but I don't know much about.
Yeah, you're talking about Enlightenment values. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Not just Enlightenment values. Like there's still the principles of a largely Christian nation. It's a mix of things.
That I disagree with. Unless you want to say that, or like I don't really like.
If you want to be ahistorical about it.
No,
sure,
I don't.
but
I
most
don't like
of these men were
the.
Christians, and they had.
If you want to be ahistorical about it, yeah, the majority may have been Christians, but that does not mean we based our doctrine and law in Christian thought and belief. Obviously. Is this guy dumb?
I'm not a Christian
Maybe.
nationalist, just to be.
Oh no,
absolutely
I'm not
clear.
talking about
I
that.
get it.
No, I
I'm not a Christian nationalist. I'm not. I just espouse Christian nationalist thought.
I think that separation of church and state is by design inbuilt into the United States Constitution. I think it's pretty clearly in there. And no, like not all, but like
Yep, also
yeah.
a Christian principle because it's based on Christian principles.
Okay, well, if
Oh,
you're
it's
saying-
based, but you have nowhere to say that it is actually nowhere in the Constitution does it say based on Christian principles. You fuck. Stop lying about our Constitution.
It was designed by Christian men. I don't think that they were apostates.
they weren't all
heretics. They certainly
Christians.
didn't. They were not all. Yes, they were not all Christians. Some of them were deists. Some of them had a more general belief in God and just happened to be informed by
Yes.
the time and society that they lived in, which was around the vast majority of them Christians, and not just Christians of a passing variety, but people who were scholars and spent a lot of time thinking about this sort of thing and how.
Well, we live in a system where the minority is also represented.
influence.
Just
Yeah,
very
well,
important. Right
yeah, I
there.
know, because that was. I mean, I would argue that to at least some extent, obviously, like Christian morality or whatever, to whatever extent that is, even though a lot of that stuff wasn't necessarily unique to Christianity. It's not like the concept of turning other sheep into Christianity.
Yeah.
But a lot
By
of
the
that
way,
stuff,
I love Kalinda's shirt. It's very fun.
obviously, that stuff influenced the Enlightenment. So, like, because like most people were Christians.
By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please consider giving a like and a sub. It really helps out the channel, gets me out there in the algorithm, and gets me in more people's feeds. I'll be doing some shorts here soon. When I'm at work, I can't create content this way, so I plan on creating content another way. And that is with the shorts. I'll be asking questions to MAGA. So if anybody has some questions for MAGA, let me know. And I was reminded of your editor by that shirt. Lily, yes, Lily is super cool. We haven't really worked on anything too much right now. She's been very busy, and so have I, but at some point we're definitely going to link up.
At any rate, at that time. So, like, I think that it's all
I'll
kind
be doing a community day stream where I'll have people like Kalinda on, people like Lily. We'll have them all.
mixed together anyway.
Many Enlightenment thinkers were atheists, but still, sure, absolutely. But they were contemporary. Like Christianity didn't disappear. So like these were.
Oh, I'm not saying
While
Christianity.
they were discussing John Locke, they were also going to church. And I think that's. I don't know. If I get interested, and I don't know how. You tell me if you want to stop looping on this at any point. I'll happily do so. But I do find it interesting when folks try to, again, in a really simple conversation about what America is, whether there are any values that you ought to have as an American. When people start trying to chop that list down, it makes me a little.
Well, I don't think you ought to have any fucking values to be an American. You just got to be human. Sorry, bubs. And the only way you're going to argue against that is definitely not quoting the Constitution.
Nervous.
I can promise you that.
I mean, I mean, it's very funny actually that you would say stuff like that, because right now I would contend that the people who are anti-American are MAGA. Not like, and the reason why I would contend that is because they're the ones who are pissing all over the Constitution and worshiping at the altar of a guy who very clearly doesn't care about it and who tried to steal an election. And yeah, it's like, I just, now in terms of what you're saying, I do think that there is definitely something there. I think that there are certain values, like I would argue probably on the general term, like the values of, you know, like democracy and liberty and free speech. Like,
I actually disagree with Kalinda on this one. I do not think there are any commonly held values of America, of an American, personally. Now, you may disagree, and I could definitely see your point on that, but from what I've seen, the ideals and beliefs of Americans are as varied as grains of sand on a beach, you know?
Basically.
That's pretty important.
Yeah, I think that stuff, I think that you could say that, you know, like, yeah, sure, you should probably like share those values to at least some degree. But at the same time, I mean, that's the other thing about living in a free society like this, is that, I mean, do we really want to start like kicking people? Because there's actually lots of people who live in America who are part of the quote unquote founding stock who don't necessarily agree with all those things in the same way.
Sure,
yeah.
I have very intentionally avoided demanding remigration or deportation in this conversation, right? Because we're being reasonable and chatting reasonably.
No, stop it. This guy is bad faith. I'm sorry, he is a bad faith actor. And you see it throughout this debate.
Yeah. I don't know where that comes into it. The reason I'm asking this is, can I show suspicion? Because, again, when it comes to immigration, I think it's totally reasonable. I think that racism is anti-American.
Yes, I think it is too.
Right. So I
well,
think
that's great. That's great. But meanwhile, you can say that it's anti-American, and I would agree with you. But yet you're still espousing racist ideals. Like the caste shit. Oh my god, I can't wait to get to the caste shit.
that people who express racism or come from racist cultures, some kind of threshold has to which we're not just suspicious, but confident that they're racist.
The only
bring racism
the
to
only
America.
the only issue that I would have with that though is the fact that you are assuming that those people couldn't integrate. What?
You might lose voters.
No. I'm saying that you're assuming those people couldn't integrate.
Okay, here we go. Interrupting loser alert.
In any way, or that their children, just as a result of simply growing up in America, wouldn't, and like spending their time around kids of, let's say, different races, wouldn't change as a result of that. The United States seems to
No
honestly.
to the first one, yes to the second one, but it's not necessary for me to be correct about the first one because I'm not obligated to let anti-American people into America. Certainly.
I mean,
I would
sure,
hope we
you
agree
could.
on that.
No, I'm sorry, but I don't.
You're
I'm
not
really
obligated. You yourself are not obligated to do any of this. This is the government's job, bubs. So, don't dilute yourself into thinking that you have actual sway. No. It's the politicians that are doing that.
okay with like, unless you could prove to me that there was like a shitload, like unless like we could like find a problem where a shitload of people are going to come into the country and they're going to be like really like there was a specific group that was coming in and it was obvious that they had that they were racist or they had some sort of ulterior motive. Like you could point that out, like with the Zionists who were immigrating to Palestine, whose goal it was, and they were out about it, was to make their own country. But I think that's a little bit different than just a bunch of people immigrating to a place. I'm not okay with what you're basically talking about is thought crimes. Like
no, it's not thought crime.
You're saying you can't come here if you.
No, yeah, he's advocating for thought crime. That's a great point by Kalinda.
Believe a thing, even though it's perfectly fine for people who already live here to believe that same thing.
Sure, yeah, that's 100% normal. Wasn't that's a viewpoint.
No, it's not. That's not normal at all. That's called hypocrisy, you dumb fuck. Don't just ignore what she said. He just ignores what she said and just plows through. No, you dumb fuck. You gotta answer that. You gotta answer why that makes sense in your worldview. Why a thought crime makes sense. And he can't. He really can't.
Others, because obviously you're not entitled to immigrate here and just completely change the character of the nation.
Yeah, but you're assuming that one person coming to a country is going to completely change the character of the nation.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not.
No, you're implying you know what? I'll even be more generous. You're implying 1 million people are going to come into the country and change the thought of the nation. Are you fucking joking? Are you fucking joking? Where's the evidence of this? Where's the caste systems? I'm waiting.
And if you're defending immigration of one person, like say per year, 10 years, per century,
no, I
will lay down my arms. But we're discussing 1 million people per year or more every year.
Yeah, but you're assuming that all of those people have the same beliefs, and that's not even true, by the way.
No,
For example, like
I'm absolutely not. Yes.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't have the right beliefs.
Absolutely is true. We're getting over 1 million people per year coming in. That's 100%.
Okay, that part may be true, which it's not, by the way. Border encounters are down to 10,000. And we have record low immigration. Thanks, Trump. So that's a lie. He's lying right now. This sounds like he believes in great replacement. Oh, Well, if you would say that, he would accuse you of calling him a conspiracy theorist and soy out for the next 10 minutes.
Correct.
Wait, are you? No, I mean, I don't have the numbers right now. I'm not necessarily as interested in empirical discussions. I would have to like look a bunch of stuff up. I'm more like curious about the philosophical aspects of it. But like, let's assume
Right.
that
No,
that's
that's
correct.
my bad. I went
And if
assuming that I'm not completely off base, which hey, it's happened before. I'm not doing this on the basis of one person.
Brother, you're off base in this conversation. I hope you see this, and I hope you know you're completely off base in this conversation. And you were incredibly fucking rude to Kalinda. So I would personally love to debate this guy, but I'm not going to give him the faith that Kalinda gave him.
Person. I'm explicitly discriminating against cultures. I'm discriminating against cultures.
Which cultures? Because like if you're talking about, for example, the
I'm specifically discriminating against cultures. Okay, great dog whistle, bud. Can we actually talk about the situation now? America, he is too cowardly to own up to his crazy views. Oh yeah, he soys out about her asking if he believed in a conspiracy, and he soys out for like 10 minutes and cries about the fact that she implied that he might believe that 9/11 was an inside job, even though the previous conversation he was literally talking about how 9/11 was an inside job, about how we knew about it. Jesus.
the people from Latin America, a lot of those people are like socially conservative people who would probably vote Republican if the Republican Party wasn't so goddamn racist.
Yeah, I mean, Latino men, I think, got Trump elected in the last election. So sure, absolutely.
Okay.
I do
Sure, absolutely. This completely destroys my argument. Let's see how I can pivot.
think that there's a little bit of ethnic enclave stuff, but not as much. So I think that you could say, provided we're not at active war with any of these Latin American countries or with elements of their countries, I think that would be totally fine to not restrict them explicitly. What about
Oh, wow. So you disagree with your previous statement of thought crimes. Interesting.
countries with, say, caste systems, like where they considered certain people more beautiful, certain people, like they considered by virtue of your blood, you are of a higher caste.
Are
born
you
into it.
are you
you're
talking about
superior.
Indian people now? Because as far as I'm
I was
aware,
talking about Nazi Germany, actually, but if we're going to the other country that uses the
Oh my God, shut the fuck up. No, you were obviously implying the caste system of fucking India. Shut the fuck up, you loser. No, I was actually talking about Nazi Germany. No, you weren't. In a debate about immigration, you were talking about Nazi Germany. Really, Bubs? Bad faith. Latino community has also shifted in these recent elections. Oh yeah, the Republicans fucked up. The Republicans fucked up with the Latino vote, by the way.
I suppose we can switch topics.
yeah, but I'm just saying,
prepared.
as far as I'm aware, like Indian Americans are generally fine, and I don't even really think there's that many of them.
What does generally fine mean? What the hell?
It means that I haven't heard anything crazy about them. In fact, it seems like the only
Oh, here's the faux outrage. Oh, I'm a sensitive individual. What does that mean? Shut up, dude. We both know what you're implying.
context in which they get brought up is like fucking Sam Hyde and other people being super mad about H-1B visas. It also seems like, and I would imagine this is probably true, because that most countries, they're really far away.
Yeah, the
if you're
Gravala
someone from-
election shows that too. Yeah, I mean, it shows that fucking the Republicans fucked up. They had a really great voter base that appreciated them, and then they targeted their community with a bunch of ICE raids. They fucked up.
from India who's going to immigrate to the United States, and if you're not coming as a refugee, which you probably aren't, you probably are only going to be able to come if you're wealthy, because that India is really far away. Like, that's part of the reason why most of the...
No, we
like,
have an international banking system. We've had one for some time, but now it's digitized.
I love how this guy just fucking interrupts Kalinda at every fucking moment he can. Oh, guys, don't you just love that? Don't you love a debate partner that doesn't fucking listen to you? Oh, I love that.
What that lets people do is pull together money. They can send money back home. People from back home can send them money. People's entry into the country and sustained entry can be funded. And on top of that, if you come from a culture that is fine with,
Gish Gallop alert. None of this matters to the actual debate.
like, let's say having 3 or 4 families within a single home, then you actually can sustain that on relatively low incomes. Especially if you, here's a really fun part. Especially
Great. We're not having a discussion about if immigrant can sustain their existence in America. We're discussing if it's good for America. You fuck. Bro, answer the question.
if you refuse to pay for.
And he went on about the caste system. I have never met an Indian in the Western world who cares about that. Yeah, me neither, dude. This guy speaks like Timu Mike Johnson. Yeah, I see that. But he's very bad at interrupting. He's the definition of a mansplainer.
services deemed necessary, or fees deemed necessary, or if you scam people, if you encourage them or request that they do not write up tax notes, if you say, hey, give me a deal on this. I know that I'm renting out, this is my favorite example, renting out to a family here in one of my rooms or what.
Oh my God, dude. Nobody gives a fuck. Get to the question being answered. Nobody gives a fuck. I'll take a poll. Does anybody give a fuck in the chat about if he's subletting a rental? I don't. But maybe he'll explain it a little better.
Because I brought them over, it's infested with German cockroaches, and I just want a one-time service. I'd like it to, I'd love to get it for about $30, and I'd like a guarantee that I could call you back whenever those German cockroaches show up again. And no, I don't want consistent pest control, even though I'm required by Texas law. Like, we have protections for Texas residents.
Mike Johnson himself is a Wish.com piano poll. That's funny.
Texas renters, like, we need to provide them with AC, we need to provide them with pest control because bugs are fucking everywhere in Texas.
Oh, guys, we get to. Oh, I'm so glad I get the breakdown of how it's gonna cost to how much it's gonna cost to debug my place. Thank you for telling me that.
But yeah,
I feel like you just went off on like a weird tangent. Although
I did. Sorry.
Me too.
That's cool. I have a friend who lives in Texas.
People, yeah, so the point was people who
Wish.com. That's a good
back
one.
around. If you refuse to play by the local rules and you come from a culture that cooperates in scams or in mystery.
So already we're presuming they don't follow the rules of our society. Wow. So already we are getting rid of a vast majority of immigrants here.
Of the host country, then you actually can make it here on relatively low budgets. There's ways to make it here on relatively low budgets, even if you're not scamming people. I've had that do before. Real stream budget, that really sucks. But yeah.
Okay, but like you would have to show me data that people were actually doing this, because overall, like I am still in it. Like I'm just saying though that like that was generally my feeling, and like I feel like that's not. And also like honestly, I don't even know.
I have to be aware of a coalition who disagrees. I mean, there's people who are not happy with a 20%, with a massive increase in a foreign ethnic population that engages in a caste system, and we've seen no data that they drop this caste system. I would urge that the burden of proof, and I hate to.
We've seen no data that they keep it. What are you talking about? He's trying to prove it. You're trying to make her prove a negative. You're trying to make her disprove a negative. You can't do that, dude.
I think the burden of proof should be on the people who are bringing these people in to say, hey, this is the value of these people, even if they do bring in the caste system, because it is a obvious risk.
Okay, the issue that I have is that you're like assuming that if a bunch of people come in, it means that they're gonna like.
Does he have any data? Does he ever bring up any data that shows that the caste system is being adopted by these communities in America? Oh no, he's just vibes. Got you.
Somehow managed to override the laws of the country in order to like bring in their caste system or like their racism or whatever other shit, when like something like that would take so long. Like there's no caste, like the caste.
Oh, I didn't see that, but he implied, Bill says he also implied scamming is in the Indian blood. Wow. But this guy's not racist. He's a liberal, guys. He's a liberal.
System just doesn't exist in America, and it's not just gonna like come in and then suddenly manage to pop up and appear. And like if they try to like start doing shit related to that breaks the law, then they're gonna break the law and they're gonna get in trouble for it. In the same way is that like if someone from, actually I shouldn't even just say Muslims, because like there's like other like African Christian cultures and other cultures that do this as well. If like a group of people from a culture who thought honor killing was okay came over here and they engaged in honor killing, like it's not like we're gonna be like, oh well, we can't do anything about it because it's your culture. No, that's still fucking illegal. You committed murder and you're gonna go to prison.
There are countries that have.
Oh my God, that's so true. That's a great fucking point.
Face that same fate, but we'll put that to the side for the moment.
Yeah, but we're talking about.
We'll put that to the side for the moment. We'll put that to the side for the moment. Oh my God, dude, you have to engage with that. This isn't choose your favorite fucking adventure. This is a debate. We're talking, we're discussing. This isn't, oh, well, you know that evidence you just brought? We're going to put that to the side for a moment.
United States right now. I think the United States is very choosy.
We don't have to worry about that shit.
No, that's not the only. That's not just what I'm saying. Though I'm saying
of course it's not the only.
Yeah, I know.
We're being a little bit silly.
Also,
what would that,
yes.
Just to clarify, what would that look like to you? So you're saying that these people would come here and they wouldn't do jack shit. They would act like straight off the boat. They're gonna act like.
What would it look like? Okay, let me fucking describe what a person who engaged in honor killings would look like. They come here. They have a house. They're paying rent. Somebody pisses them off. They commit an honor killing. They go to jail. Dumbass. They go to jail. Okay? We're not just going to allow an honor killing. Like, what are you talking about?
Americans, and
that's what that fucking looks like.
And not burden the
okay?
host country. So what would it look like if they were to start burdening the host country with these, again, anti-American beliefs?
What would it look like if this thing that's not happening happened? I don't know, dude. That's a great question. For like really fun magic ball things, you see them at old timey shops. Yeah, ask them that, because they're Zoran or whatever. I think that's his name. Ask them that. Kalinda doesn't tell fortunes, Bubs. Kalinda doesn't tell the future. She doesn't have that ability. You're asking the wrong person.
What would that look like to you? Because maybe I could find an example, or maybe there is no example because I'm wrong. Of these people engaging in this behavior.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Like, to me, like, start burdening the host country with anti-American. I mean, it
Well,
might.
you're mentioning like stuff that they can't.
Just the way of that, burdening the host country with anti-American beliefs. What does that look like? What does that look like? What is burdening the host country with anti-American beliefs? He's also acting like them being racist to each other is problem, but only if it's his country, where they can be radicalized out of it. It's fine if it's away from his eyes. Yeah. Well, obviously anything in front of this man is his entire world. You can just tell that.
Can't do, or stuff that they wouldn't be able to do, or stuff that would be prohibitive for them to do, but like not with a lot of specifics. So the things that you were mentioning, they're not going to like be able to surpass the laws or supersede the laws. They're not going to be able to bring the caste system into America. What would it look like if they work? Because I want to see if we're on the same page about what that would look like.
What would it look like if it didn't happen? I can't tell you that, Bubs. I can't tell you, and I have no fucking idea what that would look like. Neither do you, because it hasn't happened.
Okay, what would it look like if they were okay, so listen, this is how I would typically imagine this kind of shit happening if this were going to happen, or like based on like the fear that people have, is like basically there would have to be a whole bunch of immigrants that would have to come in, and there would have to be enough of them that they could then either form their own political party or get specific candidates elected or infiltrate one of the major political parties to such an extent that the values that they have are then like reflected on that particular political party, and then they would start running on that kind of stuff, and then there would be enough of this new immigrant population in order to basically change the rules or the laws within the country or something like that. However, that's not
That's
the
the history of America. I didn't even think of that example because I was like, that's too on the nose.
Hold on.
Here's an example. The Sierra Club used to be anti-immigration. The Sierra Club is no longer anti-immigration. The Sierra Club's chosen political actors receive votes from immigration.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, well, I really hope this guy has the same smoke for gerrymandering that he has for this. Baseless accusation of immigrants voting for Democrats. It's completely varied on who they vote for by region, by where they're from originally, by a whole bunch of factors, dude. You're not going to get a promise from an immigrant that they're going to vote Democrat.
To be obvious, and it used to be widely reported on that people who come from the third world don't have the same views of trash and ecological preservation that we do, which is obvious, and that's not me attacking them.
Whoa! They don't have the same views of trash? What are you talking about?
Right? If you grow up in a culture where everybody throws trash in the river, you're not going to think anything of it when people throw trash in the river. You're just going to be, you might be curious about the lack of trash in our river, like in this random creek, but that isn't necessarily going to stop you from throwing trash into the river.
I mean,
and again, not a criticism, that's just a normal
Prove
thing.
this wrong. Literally, yes, it does.
Things that I see in America that I don't
I know exactly what you're saying, and yes.
question because I was just born here.
The Sierra Club
of human life.
looks like it's like a liberal and progressive organization, though, or if it didn't start out as that, it became that, and it probably has
It was
always
a
been
liberal
that.
and progressive organization, but still is today.
Yeah.
And liberal and progressives
So, what are you talking about?
sometimes had different views, which were called was the different policy recommendations, which were called was your condition, the one that you gave me. Whether or not
Oh my god, so what? Their views have changed. Holy shit, dude.
immigration was changing the character of the country, which again, was very
But a bunch
low
of
bar.
people, like I would have to see who the people were within the Sierra Club that changed, like.
Do the lower caste of Indians move to the States? That might be a tad expensive, no? Yeah. It's very expensive to immigrate to America. This guy's worthless. This guy is both hiding his power level and trolling. I know. And that's kind of why I'm wary. Like, I'd love to debate him, but I'm kind of wary because it's like this guy is just going to revert to his troll behavior when he gets called out on stuff that isn't true.
Like, it to be more pro-immigration, because that just sounds like a general liberal.
Which I can engage in, trust me. I'm a little troll myself sometimes, so trust me, I can engage with that. But I don't think he's going to win a meme off. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to win a meme off, unfortunately for him. I think I have the tactical and field advantage in that.
right?
No,
Like
no,
liberals tend
because
to be
then
more
you-
pro-immigration.
They tend to be, but that doesn't mean that they open the floodgates with no restrictions to everybody.
Okay, I feel like you are using like it feels like you're just trying to like trigger me by being the most like it like no there's what do you mean open
Normal,
the floodgates?
regular guy.
No, by
Yeah,
using
no,
the most
open the floodgates.
A
incendiary
regular guy? Yeah, I'm just a regular guy who spends most of his time on Discord. What are you talking
Which, no, there
about?
was no opening of
I'm
the
a regular
floodgates.
guy.
There
What
was
do you-
100%. It's one of the largest, if not the largest, mass migration in human history. And you can say that it's good, and that's totally fine. I don't
Are you
think that I
talking
should be
about
required
the
to like it and say that it's
number
good.
of people who have come to the United States since the passing of like the Hart-Celler Immigration Act? Because that was a long ass
It was
time ago,
only
dude.
60 years. No, it was only 60 years ago. And
It was only 60 years ago! Oh my god! It was only 60 years ago. As if major policies haven't passed since then.
but hold on. I get what you mean, right? It's not all at once. It's not literally all at once. That's a totally fair
It's
objection.
not, and also like right now.
Yeah, but the way you framed it seemed like it was all at once. The largest mass migration implies that it's a large amount of people moving there at the same time, you dumb fuck. And you purposely did that.
To legally immigrate to the United States, it takes like 10 years. America is still can still be very choosy about who decides who comes to
No,
the U.S. They certainly
that's
are in
not the
terms of who
metric.
gets to be a refugee.
Belinda, I'm sorry. That's not the metric of whether or not there's mass migration, is whether it takes people a long time. There's a lot of people on the planet.
Buddy, yes it is. I'm sorry, but yes it is. In that case, if it's over a long period of time and it's a little smaller, you know what we call that? Migration. We don't call it mass migration. We call it migration. There's been a large amount of migration. There hasn't been a mass migration. Oh, geez. What a limbic beta, honestly.
And so if it changes the population of the country,
Yeah, but I
it can
don't-
be 1/6 immigrants or the children of immigrants, or 1/5 or
Okay,
1/3.
I guess my
That's
question-
pretty
We've always been the children of immigrants, you dumbass. Oh, God, he is triggering
My
me.
question, yeah, but my next question is, who cares? Why does this matter? Like, it feels like have the values still haven't really changed that much, unless you're just like,
The
you think
values
that,
have wildly
do
shifted.
you think that immigrants made the United States more liberal?
No, because I don't think that they brought liberal values. But
Okay, then in
that's a
what way
semantic discussion,
have they
perhaps.
changed the United States? Because unfortunately,
Oh, they've made it. I believe that they made it way more racist. They hold to ethnic enclaves.
are you
within
serious
the-
right now? You think the United States has gotten more racist than it was like under segregation and Jim Crow? Really?
Did I say under segregation or Jim Crow?
No, but you're saying they made it more racist. That doesn't.
I think our
60 years ago was around the time of Jim Crow and stuff. Let's see, 60. Oh, we're talking about the 80s, actually. No. I guess, you know what? You're totally right. We are much more racist than we were in the 80s. Jesus Christ.
population of racist people has increased. Yes,
I
I
don't.
think we had a general trend towards anti-racism.
Is this a
And that
1-1? I'm
led to
sorry.
And that led to the repealing of Jim Crow and the repealing, all the nasty things that were done to African Americans who are our citizens, are Americans, do share in the propositional nation, and fought very hard to make sure that that propositional nation would survive as a proposition rather than just being a kind of white ethno-state. And made a lot of sacrifices in that pursuit. And the people who came after do not share those opinions, don't share those values all the time. There are many who do. There's some
Good. We don't require them to share those values. That's not a requirement to be American. So can you please stop on this bullshit values and just say you don't like brown people?
who don't. And they've gotten in, it seems like, with little to no scrutiny, possibly for the purpose of just setting up ethnic enclaves that would provide one party with votes.
Where are these ethnic enclaves, by the way? Where are they? I'm generally wondering.
I think
What,
it's,
you
I think
mean
one that they do
example?
it in a racist way. I think that Somalians in Minnesota basically airdropped in. Omar Fatah, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing that.
Yeah, he lost.
Lost because his co-ethnics were not actually his co-ethnics. There are multiple tribes of Somalians. They're so populous within this little town called Minneapolis. And there's an opposing tribe which declared that they were going to vote for Fatah's opposition because they disliked Fatah's tribe. And they are, to be clear,
Who
that's great.
cares? Churches do the exact same fucking thing, dude. Churches do the exact same thing. You have no smoke for the churches, but you have smoke for these Somalian people. I wonder why that is. I wonder why the fuck that is.
Racist.
Okay, and how many of these
Yeah,
people are
there we go. He said it. There we go. It's racist. Oh, I muted it. Oh, do you guys see me in the chat?
Election in this one particular location.
I am very doubtful of this. Also, like, who was the person?
What kind of number would you be expecting out of curiosity? Because you didn't seem to know anything about the number of people who've come here since, since 1960. But like,
Yeah,
in
no,
general
I
speaking.
know that it's like in the millions, but I think that people who make that argument are
It's in
silly.
the tens of millions.
I think that people who make that argument are silly, and I don't care how many people are coming to the United States or to any other country who are immigrants, who are now the children of immigrants or whatever. You have to like explain why that's bad. You can't just be like bar immigrants
Well,
bad.
hold on, because you're switching the qualification. So every time I bring up something that I
No,
dislike,
no, she is not. Stop it. You're the one switching. You're the one doing the Mott and Bailey here.
we're basically on this carousel at this point. So I brought up why I dislike I asked you, what would it take to look like immigration was negatively affecting the country, or just affecting the country in general, right? We could make a
Well, I mean,
determination
it's probably going to
afterwards.
affect the
And
country.
Dude, you're asking her to prove a negative. You're asking her to prove that. You are such a dumbass. You have not even graduated high school debate. Oh my God. Somebody send this guy a quick PowerPoint on how to do debates.
Explains to you on your own qualifications that it does. And then we went around to like, well, why do you care? I said, well, I don't want to live in a racist country. Among other things, I think that I will be targeted, but I'm
Oh, I thought that was me. Sorry, guys.
also like, so I have a self-interest argument, but also I believe the American proposition. I am an American. I don't want to share the country with non-Americans. And I mean that in the people who reject the propositional nation.
Well, too bad. So sad, buddy. You got to. Buck up, bud. Because that's not the world you live in. I could give less of a fuck about how you feel.
Hello, Sonia.
Hi.
Hey, Sonia.
I'm streaming if you want to see the cat.
Ooh. Oh, hang on. I'm going to go for my...
All right.
Oh, you can still look at the cat.
Somalis are like 6% of Minneapolis population. They did not sway the election. This is where Aiko writes the AI essay. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yes.
I was the one who invited Aika to Kalinda's Discord, I'm pretty sure.
Here.
Back in the day.
Okay.
Is it that lit girl with like, what? Where's the second L?
What?
I assume that you were streaming on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I am, but my name on YouTube is just Kalinda. My Twitter handle is like the Lib Girl. Or rather, it's at Kalinda Live. But if you search for Kalinda, you should find it. Hello, kitty. Okay, so like, basically, my view here is that when people complain about immigration and they say like stuff about like immigrants or whatever, because when you initially made the argument, it sounded like you were just mad that more people in the United States were descendants from immigrants instead of being descended from the quote unquote founding stock. And I'm saying that's something that I don't
He was. That was an argument he was upset about.
care about.
But he dressed it in culture and
But now,
like
just
that.
talking about everyone's more
I need to interrupt
racist.
for a moment because I went off on a big tangent about my grandparents coming down from Ellis Island.
Yeah, I know. You tend to do that. You tend to go on these stupid tangents.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to misrepresent you. I'm saying, but now you're talking about
I don't care. You know, you dug your own grave when you were such a
That was a
view
misrepresentation.
is that
I think
people
that
are more-
deserves like an apology. For
Okay,
me,
all
I
right.
don't think that was.
No, that's fair. I'm sorry, but that wasn't actually what I was trying to say. I'm just saying that like
You're trying to get to something.
The one thing I will critique Kalinda on this is never say sorry to these fucks. Never say sorry. They would not dare say sorry to us as they're kicking us off into the camp. So never say sorry to these people because they see it as a win. Oh, she changed it from Kalinda to Kalinda Live.
Something else. Sorry, I don't
No,
mean to
I
like
was.
hammer you. I want to make sure that you're listening. Oh.
No, I was listening. It seems like your contention is that you think that people who are coming over to the United States are like these immigrants are racist and that they stick to ethnic enclaves and stuff like that.
Some of them do. Some of them integrate. Would you grant me that some of them integrate?
Some of them do. Some of them. I'm not going to tell you who, but some of them do.
Better than others. I mean, this is almost unfair.
I mean, I feel like I would have to see data on that then too. Like, and also to be
Oh my God, he's telling himself he's winning the argument. He's saying it's unfair. Dude, I thought it was unfair when you asked her to prove a negative, but oh well.
honest, I think that first of all, I would still argue that I think the United States does a better job of integrating immigrants than a lot of other countries do. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I don't know if these polls are still like the same, but like a while ago there was polling that showed that Muslims supported gay marriage more than evangelical Christians did. Like, and these Muslims are obviously the children
You
of
said Poles, and I
immigrants.
thought you were going to go off in the Polish.
No.
No, we have a different, dirtier word for those people. No.
Oh, we don't like polls when they say stuff. I don't use polls typically. I use studies and stuff like that. But this guy, he only likes polls when they apply to him.
I'm kidding. I love Poland. I went Poland.
I want to go
So
there.
I 100%. It's so Gdansk is beautiful, and the wilderness is pristine.
Well, I mean, I want to spend like a week there just looking at Holocaust stuff because Nazi Germany is my quote unquote special interest thing. But that's neither here nor there.
If you get a chance to go to Gdansk, stop by the memorial to the end of the Iron Curtain or the end of the.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's impactful.
He's humanizing himself. He's humanizing himself. He's like, oh, I've done all this shit. Like, I'm sorry, bud, but I'm here to talk about the actual issues at hand. Not hear about how great the wall is, you know?
Impactful.
That is because of...
Oh, what the fuck was that?
Is Ika trying to talk? I have never heard you speak before. Are you trying to?
Many years ago.
Is Ika like actually like?
In a galaxy far, far away.
Hold on, Sonia, you have to tell us. Is Ika actually like a girl? Because none of us know, and we think that Ika might just like be pretending to be. Yeah. I don't know.
Ica is a girl, but I don't know Ica's current gender identity because I haven't really interacted with Ica.
Different nations can externally exert soft power in America through cultural means to influence our votes.
Fuck
If
Ica.
China held hegemony, they can maintain it by flooding America with Chinese media that asserts Chinese values. We do not ban immigrants because throwing immigrants at a country is not only a loss for the origin country economically and a benefit for the receiving country, it's been the result of the groups that have entered it. And by the time it became independent, it coincided power variable has and still is as well existential risk due to
Did she just
migration.
write
And
an
you are
essay?
Something.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
I've seen Ica's typing, and it's nowhere near as well written as
Also,
that
oh my
was.
God.
But yeah, I've heard Ica talk years ago. Ica used to be in my community years ago, and
Okay.
but now they're kind of back in Wix community, I guess.
Yeah. Look at
Back
this.
after a break.
Look at this
And, like-
adorable baby.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's my
so
little boy.
cute.
He's in my lap. Yeah, Ica. If you're gonna
Really
use
cute.
like an AI text, yeah.
All right, guys, I think I'm gonna end the stream here, just because we'll catch this back right when we start up tomorrow, because I do have to get ready for work. I have to do all of the fun things like shower and work out and stretch and all that. So I'm probably going to end it here. But guys, if you guys enjoyed this stream and you want to see more like it, I host a stream every day. What other streamer do you know does this every day? I do this every day from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. I'm here and we talk about politics, the news. Usually I have more news articles, but today it was a little... I didn't really have any news articles to go over just because I woke up like 5 minutes before the stream started. So, but usually we do have news articles to go over. Fix the animals. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. What am I doing? You're totally right, Bill. Immels. Just like animals, immels. I like the immels. It makes it seem... Love you, bro, and chat. Peace out. Hey, good to see you, Savage. Good to see you. But I will be live tomorrow, 9 a.m., 12 p.m., as always. But please give a like. Please give a subscribe before you head out. It really helps out the channel, gets my voice out there. And if you guys are wondering what music I play in the very beginning, it is Front Mission 4 OST. I can send it in the chat if you guys would like. But yeah, I think that basically covers anything. Thanks for staying in the channel, guys. I mean, it really means a lot to me. Let me see. Front Mission 4. I kind of want... gosh, I wish I could do the Yu-Gi-Oh! Theme song. I've been really... It's time to duel! I've really been enjoying that. But this one gives similar vibes. This one definitely gives similar vibes. Let's see, which one's the one? Red Alert, I think, is the one I enjoy. Alright, let me see what we got going on here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you tomorrow. Stay cool and have an amazing day. The short got like 150 views since the start of the stream. Yeah, the short's going crazy right now. I noticed that too. The shorts are doing really good. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. I will see you tomorrow. Stay cool as hell. And yeah, later.